Welcome back, everybody, to Game 1 between GCCE Hyrulean Heroes and Feed. Oh my god, for my life, I forgot. Feed the Dream. Holy cow. That just completely eluded me. As looking at these teams, GCCE go for blue side Game 1. It is T-Dye at the top lane, Kagrin in the jungle, Buckbee in the mid lane. My goddamn Discord thing's in the way. Oh god. Ballistic Demon, ADC, and Flock support. For the side of Feed the Dream, it's Ratsu top, GCC Samurai jungle, Malbithos mid, Mythic Chaos ADC, and Beta Mana support. Both these teams are fielding their starters, and it looks to be some early shenanigans from Feed the Dream, but otherwise it should be a relatively chill game here. Looking at both these comps, as
And
Ratsu,
thanks to the long
looking.
side. Oh, what is he doing? You're right.
Yeah, like what is he? He's waiting. Oh, I think he's doing this tech I saw. Like you absorb one minion from the first wave, and then you run top.
Yep,
And
and
then,
the enemy top
level 2 on the
laner,
first wave.
the enemy top laner expects you to be behind in XP. So not only do you get the level 2 sooner, but you also like the element of surprise is there because he wasn't in lane. Of course, he's not supposed to have level 2.
He picked up the 3. He picked up the 3, so he's gonna push the wave a bit. So we're gonna see how that goes.
The double whammy.
He's pretty chill, and he hits at level 2. Let's see if he makes good use of that one. And yeah, I guess not because he used that E earlier. So now
he used the E way too soon, and now he just doesn't have.
What did he start? He did EQ. It's not too bad, but he's actually, ironically, I mean, even with the lead, he is losing out on those trades a bit. So it's a little rough. It's a little roughy. But
I feel like if you're going to try that strategy, you should go for a combat summoner and try to like really make the most of that and try and earn a permanent advantage with it. But
yeah,
let's see if they can expand that further. I like that Feed the Dream had a concept coming into this draft of how they wanted to play it out. I do, however, like Hyrulean Heroes composition much more. I think they have a very simple execution. They know exactly what they want to do, and they have great targets to focus down in Mel and Sivir.
Yeah, they have an excellent team fight composition. I mean, this comp is going to scale like crazy. They have decent early game with if the Ahri and the Jarvan can kind of sync up a bit, and they kind of have that guaranteed scaling with the Ornn and the Jinx. So I mean, I really like their composition, but we're going to see if they can kind of execute upon those plans here, as bot lane is getting pushed in a little bit. Ballistic Demon going to get put down a little bit of CS, but Kagrin is pathing towards his bot lane here to look for that early game. Going to get spotted on that bot tri-bush, and GCC Samurai is going to pick up that first scuttle in the bot lane there, top lane. It's a really, really rough time there, getting chunked out there, and so Darius going to pick up that scuttle. Unfortunately, Kagrin is recalling on that ward, so Samurai is going to go opt for that double scuttle there. So Kagrin going to be down just a little bit there. Top lane, T-Dye is a little bit too low for comfort, so careful of that dive.
Really impressed by the way the bot lane played that. They're continuing getting damage down, but the wall can't go ignite. Also thrown out.
Yeah, pop the ignite. Lots of chunk going into beta. So that's a good tag onto Mythic Chaos. Gonna get exhausted. Going to spell shield the stun there with the Braum passive, but unfortunately Beta Mama is gonna go back in and he will get taken down. That's a nice little tag there onto Mythic Chaos. It's gonna be a 2v2 double kill there for the side of GCC Hyrulean Heroes.
Extremely well done. Looks like the side of Feed the Dream did not fully estimate how much damage they could put out, and Ballistic Demon and Flock played it so patiently. They executed so perfectly. Flock continuing to go forward despite the low health bar, knowing that Mythic Chaos couldn't output enough damage. And the thing that really surprised me is Sivir didn't use the barrier. I'm not sure if it would have gotten them out, if it would have given them enough HP, given that Jinx was already excited, but that is not used. Both AD carries still having their barrier, and now Jinx backs with a full BF sword and a dagger to boot. This bot lane that was winning for Feed the Dream has completely flipped on its head.
Oh yeah, it's a rough time. I mean, we kind of mentioned that it would be a little bit of a rough time there for that lane, but now, I mean, they're put down a bit, and I mean, it's always the ADC's dream, you know, first reset, you get your BF sword. So I mean, looking at this Jinx right now, she is, yeah, 23. She's up 600 gold, and she's gonna get hit with the dredge line there. Nice little block, but otherwise, I mean, it's gonna be the rest of that one. Like, again, I mean, Mythic Chaos, he's just pushing this in all the time. I mean, and Ballistic Demon is farming really well under towers. I mean, he's dead even. He's up about 700 gold up now. But otherwise, I mean, that's where the whole lead is for Hyrulean heroes. Kagrin is here in the bot lane going to clear out the ward in the river. Doesn't look like it's going to be any kind of objective start there.
Not really able to make much happen early in this game despite the heavy push from Feed the Dream. Some other members on Hyrulean Heroes who had pretty dream backs is Buckby in the mid lane getting to go back in a pretty oppressive lane against this Mel and get the whole Lost Chapter. Feels very good on Ahri, especially post nerfs in this 26.6 patch. 5 less damage per level on those Orb of Deceptions. So that wave clear getting hit a little bit means you're going to have to use more abilities, so getting that extra mana regen is going to help a whole lot. And the mana, or the tier build for Mel, I really like. I think this champ, when able to spam abilities early in the game, is most oppressive. Bot lane control of the Scuttle Crab has also been impressive, and that will give them control over this first dragon.
I mean, GCCE Samurai, he's kept a relatively consistent lead against Kagrin. I mean, he hasn't really accelerated it. It's kind of been the same. It's just been about 8-ish CS lead for him this entire time. So he really isn't accelerating it, but also really isn't losing it. So Kagrin kind of trying to look around, just doing a good job, just trying to play around that bot lane. But GCCE Samurai is always there to cover for his bot lane. So right now he should hit level 6 here. Yes, he does. So now we kind of get those little spikes there to see if things might happen. Sivir Flash will not be up for about another 2-ish minutes. So we're going to see if they can make a play on that. Top lane, I mean, Set, it's whittling down on this Ornn a bit. But I mean, that's to be expected. Did get countered just a little bit. So we're going to see he's going to quell that up eventually, as he's going to get chunked up a little bit there, not going to get hit with the Haymaker. But I mean, the gold lead's pretty much dead even. I mean, looking at both these teams, it's nothing too crazy. We don't really expect anything too crazy here. Everything's kind of going just as expected.
Block did roam up for this grub fight. They don't want to give up both objectives as Buckby.
Oh, that was a weird interaction with the rebuttal. That was weird.
Yeah, it's an interesting ability. I'm glad that they didn't completely gut it when they retuned some of Mel's abilities as the grubs are started. It is a 4v4 on this top side, but Ornn yet to move over, now moving. Set still on the top side. And Vita Mana is alone. Flash.
Nope. So he forces a Cataclysm out, but only Flash from the Nautilus. He does still have that ultimate. That's going to be some nice little CC onto GCCE Samurai here. He's going to get stunned up. He's going to get taken down. Flock going to pick up the first kill of the team fight here. Ratsu going to get the Showmaker into the back line there. Haymaker onto 3, but it won't be enough. He's going to flash over the wall. He's going to get taken down. No grubs claimed yet by the side of Feed the Dream here. And it's going to be 2-0, and the rest of the grubs going over to Hyrulean Heroes.
Yeah, just not good communication coming out of Feed the Dream. They're all going in one by one. Doesn't seem to be any sort of consistent target focus. It starts with a really good Glacial Fissure by Flock to isolate Samurai. Follow-up CC lands, and they're able to take out that one target. They could have maybe even looked for more. A 3-man Call of the Forge God was a possibility, but they wanted to layer everything onto the Darius, make sure there was no jungle for the contest, and that gets them 2 kills and all 3 Void Grubs as we enter back out onto the map. And with all of that set up from Feed the Dream, this mid lane CS advantage that was there for Mel is kind of evaporated, and Ahri is getting all the way back into this game.
Yeah, she's reset, and what is she building? What is
Malignance.
No, I don't. Oh, does it build out of a blasting one? I always keep forgetting that Luden's doesn't build out of a blasting one. It builds out of a fiendish. I keep forgetting that. That's like, you know, Unk League mentality there. You know, stuck in the old ways. But now, I mean, T-Dye, he's having a great time here, rushing that Sunfire Cave. So he's really dealing with the set. Really, he's actually winning out on all these trades now. It's a 1K gold lead for Hyrulean Heroes. Drake spawns in about a minute 45 here, and I mean they're overall. I mean Hyrulean Heroes, they're in a great spot. I mean they're in a scaling team fight composition here, and they're winning out the early game. So they're in exactly where they want to be now. I mean, the gold deficit that was in the jungle is pretty much negligible. As top lane, it's going to be 3 members of Feed the Dream here. They really want to try to make some kind of play happen here, but I mean, yeah, they just got to read these waves, and waves pushing into the set or the Ornn here, so they can't really look for that play.
Yeah, and it's the scaling that you mentioned, which Feed the Dream are so afraid of. This Ornn is going to scale incredibly well into the game, considering that when it comes to DPS, Mel and Sivir are going to have to need a lot of uptime to get the damage necessary down. Jarvan's damage will fall off, but they can transition into a tank engage type play. Ahri can become a great facilitator onto these immobile champs, and obviously Jinx scaling is evident, doesn't need to be reminded of. But the less action that FTD can force, the better it is for the Hyrulean heroes. And they're doing all the little stuff correctly too. You see them trying to force Beta Mana out of lane to deny as much experience as possible, as a ton of stuff gets rebutted towards Buckby, but not a lot of damage following it, as Mel has built up a good CS advantage once again.
I mean, she's up 15 CS. She's doing great here. Now, bot lane, it's going to be a nice little setup. Nice little dredge like onto the Jinx. 2-man knockup with the depth charge there, as Jinx is going to get jumped upon. She's going to get stunned up. She will get taken down as a Noxian execution comes through there. As that's going to be a nice little shutdown for the Darius with the Yomus, and the Drake's gonna get started up. Nice little charm onto the Darius. He's gonna get chunked like crazy. He's gonna have to be careful getting slowed up by the Ocean Drake, and that's gonna be Buckby. He's going on in. He's gonna get taken down by Beta Mama. That's gonna be the Cataclysm onto the backline. GCC Samurai will get taken down. Nowhere to go with that phase rush. That's a flash out by K-Grid. He will get out. That's gonna be the Frost onto the Sivir, but she will get taken, or they'll take down the Braum there, as Malbethos picks up that kill. So a nice little chaotic team fight there for FTD, as you were talking about those plays being made.
Yeah, a couple big mistakes from GCC in there. First of all, I mean, Dragon is spawning. They had great prio and purpose on that first Dragon, so of course they're going over the second one
top lane, a solo bolo, as yeah, he's dead.
And so I'm just so shocked that FTD are able to get away with the exact same play a second time. And then in that ensuing fight, as the Hyrulean heroes are able to pick up the Dragon off of the tempo, they go in for that fight. I feel like this Jarvan, or K-Grid on this Jarvan, I want to see how many games that they have on this champion. They've got 4 games, 75% win rate just this year. But feels like they didn't really know how much the champ could do. They flashed out, but they had a completed Sundered Sky. I feel like they could have stayed in there with Braum, gotten a lot of those stuns off, and actually turned that play around. Jarvan's an extremely strong early game champion, and I feel like with the extra attack speed from the flag, the armor shred from his passive, could have stayed in there and gotten all those kills.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just kind of like the difference between like a good player and a great player, just knowing like the limits of all the champions you play. So didn't really know that limit, you know, playing it a little bit safe there. So right now, I mean, gold lead pretty much back in Hyrulean's favor. Top lane, it's going to be GCC Samurai popping that goes. He's going to stay right on top of T-Die. He's going to flash out there, though. No more CC. Noxian Guillotine will not do enough. GCC Samurai is ironically actually the one dying the most. Here's bot lane. That's going to be depth charge onto the Jinx. Going to get the nice little Yordle snap trap down right on top of Beta Mama. He's going to get chunked like crazy. I don't think the Super Mega Death Rocket will do enough damage there, as 2 fights on 2 different fronts. But overall, GCC East Hyrulean heroes are going to be up on top here.
Yeah, they've nerfed that Super Mega Death Rocket too many times for it to be able to grab that execute, and Nautilus picked up that recently buffed Locket of the Iron Solari. Early game, the shield goes way up. K-Grid coming down to make sure that they can get as many plays as possible into this Jinx's pocket. 1k gold lead for the AD carry at the moment. And back in this mid lane, lead still doing well for Malbithos and top. I'm surprised to not see a Bramble Vest come in, but again, this might just be, you know, what the OP.GG says to build, we're building. No early components, just building out your items, and it doesn't really matter how many true damage hits of the Haymaker T-Dye takes. Going to just regen, and in and all in, he's going to get those brittle hits off, and Ratsu doesn't really stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's been losing out on the trades like pretty much the entire game. Hasn't really done too much with this counter pick here. I mean, he's up like 16 CS, but he's still down like 300 gold. So, I mean, like you mentioned, that Bramble Vest, T-Dye just picks up that one. In mid lane, nice little pick there, 3v1 GCCE, make it happen as they get that pick onto Malbithos, and they start up this Herald with no contest from FTD.
Yeah, I think it's a really important thing to point out that not only as Flash comes out from Ratsu to get away from the impending support roam, but it's important to mention that Buckbee not only has a ton of Ahri games, but also a decent amount of Mel games. So understanding both sides of this matchup very well has allowed them to, despite it being a tough matchup for Ahri, stay in it, continue to find kills. And Mel, going for the Deathfire Grasp, wants to be able to put out some damage across the entire team rather than just focusing down one target. That's kind of the avenue you see most Mels choose. Do you want to spread your damage out and try and hit as many people as possible, or do you want to just blow up the first target and go for something like a Luden's Echo into that tier item? The Deathfire Grasp is the option. We also have first item and completed call for Sivir, so hopefully if you're an FTD fan, that champ can come online soon, as the Yumu's Swifty Boots combination is allowing Samurai to kind of go wherever they want.
And yeah, Set picks up that first tower gold in the top lane. So now Goldie gonna swing a little bit into his favor, not by very much though. And I mean, mid lane, like you mentioned, I mean, Ahri, I mean, she's just overall better when it comes to clearing waves, as four summoners used by the bot lane of Hyrulean heroes as to survive that little 4v2 there. As yeah, I mean, looks like FTD, they only used their bot lane duo's ultimates, and that's 4 summoners used in the bot lane from Hyrulean heroes. So now gotta be really careful for this next Drake fight that's about to come up. So it is going to be a Hextech Soul, so this is full prio here by the side of Hyrulean heroes. They're going to pick up that Scuttle Crab. They're going to get that nice little extra little boost there as Malbithos kind of sniffs some now, backs on up as they get full prio in this bot lane river. T-Dye does not have, both top laners do not have teleport to join this fight here. Ratsu putting out a lot of damage here, but I think he's on the losing end of that trade there. That's going to be a nice little flag and drag onto the Jarvan, but that's a nice dredge line onto the Jinx in the back line. Prom is not there to protect him, as that's a nice little root from the Mel. Lots of damage coming through. Flock is having to run away, but that's going to be the Noxia Guillotine triple kill going over to GCC Samurai, as top lanes, once again, it's a wet noodle fight as the call of the Forge God come through. Ratsu is dead. He's done and dusted as he gets taken down. Once again, another solo kill, and that's a good team fight there in the bot lane. 1 for 4 in that bot lane team fight, and a nice little gold swing there now. 1.7, largest gold lead of the game.
They just play right into Feed the Dream's strengths. They go for a flag and drag just onto Beta Mana, but that, like you pointed out, that Nautilus hook weaves through everyone and lands onto Jinx, the most important target. They annihilate Ballistic Demon, and from there it's just everyone funneling into the Darius. You can't play into this champion that way. Flock has to be able to tag everyone so they can get those stuns down, so that they can move front to back throughout this team fight. And I really think that they've got to have Ornn here, because Set's value in a team fight is really minimal, but Ornn's value in a team fight is massive, especially when you have to stop the advance of the Sivir, the Darius, that are just sprinting forward with all of this move speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, as a support main and a very avid Braum player, the biggest thing with Braum is you just gotta take everything. Like, no matter what. Even if your AC is playing like an idiot, you just take everything, because you know you put a couple points into your queue, and then you immediately just start rushing it. And once again, right when I say it, he doesn't block the hook. That is like the third time that Ballistic Demon has been caught out. So like at a certain point, what do you say? That it's not Flock's fault, it's just Ballistic Demon just constantly getting caught out, because Beta Mana is on point. He is fishing.
That one, I think, was the best one yet, because I often see players in this range not willing to use their summoners enough to get like big things, whether it's a kill or an objective, and Beta Mana recognized right away, I can flash hook, kill the Jinx, and that'll get us this turret. And he pulled the trigger immediately. His team followed up, and they were able to take advantage. It also forces Kagrin to go mid to try and catch the waves, which means no one's bot lane to catch the Mel. So they deny a wave and a half of CS, get plates into Mel's pocket to extend that gold lead. All of a sudden, the 1k gold lead is now in Sivir's favor, in Mel's favor. It's almost 2k for this Darius, who is only going to become more and more of a problem. They have to unlock the top side of this map, get Ornn into these team fights. It's about time. I think Ahri has to stop matching the Mel. 2 minutes and 25 seconds left until this next Hextech Dragon. If Ornn is not there, if not present, it's going to get increasingly difficult for the Hyrulean heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the gold lead is now 4.3k. Once again, another really big gold lead. Nice little charm onto the Darius, but he is really fast with that Yo moves. He's gonna get that
Behind.
pull onto the Jarvan, but flash away by Melbethos. There is no tower left there to protect him. He's gonna call down the stars as Golden Eclipse will pick up that kill there, but the Foxfires will pick up the kill back, so it's a 1-for-1 as mid lane, lots of damage going down there. Now this time around, GCCE, they're losing out in the 2v2 in the mid lane. Ratsu has full alone time with that tower. He's gonna pick up that top lane tier 2, and it is going to be a big gold swing going over as Flock forced to flash away there, almost getting taken down by the Sivir Fear of that boomerang blade. 5k in favor of FTD, and we were just, you know, giving Hyrulean heroes their praises, and now they just can't execute on this team fight composition, because I don't think we've seen like a single like full team fight.
Yeah, they're having both mechanical and macro blunders across the map. In that bot lane play, Jarvan goes in right as Ornn's TP finishes, and that just means that Ornn cannot get on top of the Mel. He has no way to get inside the cage as Buckby caught in between a rock and a hard place.
He does have the Spirit Rush coming up soon here. Noxian Guillotine going down there. He has 4 stacks to bleed, and he should live there. Does have that refillable pot going through. Ballistic Demon forced to flash over the Raptor Pit, as that's going to be Braum getting hit with the Dredge line. No more follow-up CC with that passive. And that's going to be a good pick there, and full priority on this Drake here. This will be Feed the Dream soul point. Bad Mama gonna get caught out there. Nice little Spider-Man away. A root onto the Jarvan. He's taking a lot of damage, putting up the Unbreakable, blocking up that Sivir, but lots of damage coming through. Nice Dredge line once again. He is hitting every single one of these hooks. He is absolutely on point this game. Teleport gonna get canceled in the top lane on Ratsu, but he's going to keep on pushing there. Buckby does have that teleport advantage, so trying to clear this wave up and trying to go with his team. But that's a support. It's a 4v5 in favor of Feed the Dream. So they're just going to have to leave the Drake, and Soul Point going over to Feed the Dream.
Yeah, another one. I mean, their priority on this objective has been so solid all game long. And they don't overcomplicate things. They have the pick available on Ahri as Flock, or Kagrin.
Yep. Oh my god. That
Mel.
That Golden Eclipse did so much damage. That was like a single combo and he was dead.
Mel's getting massive, has the Hextech Alternator in inventory as well. But they have Buckby cornered and they barely get away. Flash has to be used by Jinx. All of this is good enough to have positioning on the Dragon, but then they find Flock just a bit too far forward, and what I praised them for earlier, they do it again. They fully commit onto that one target, and it might seem from a distance like a lot of cooldowns used for just the support, but that numbers advantage means a lot. Without Braum, there's really no one to stop Feed the Dream from going forward, as Buckby's going to get himself charmed by his own heart thanks to that rebuttal. And Melbethos with these items, I mean, there's not really any way to push in the side lanes if Mel is present.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the set and the meld, like the side lane threat from Feed the Dream is so strong. I mean, for Hyrulean heroes, like they just don't have any coordination. Like they're just not communicating properly. Like they're just constantly getting picked off one by one, and then you know once after that, like you can't really do anything. Like the Orange just been sitting in a side lane all game, and yeah, he has a level lead. You know, he's giving out the ornaments, but I mean, if you're not able to execute on these team fights properly, then it's just so hard because now they're just bleeding. They're hemorrhaging gold. It's almost a 7k gold lead for Feed the Dream. As Vita Mama, he doesn't care. He's just going forward there. Not quite. He's going to get onto the Chomper. He's going to get charmed up. And he's trying to flash over the one. He fails as the Dredge Line lays on the 2 in the front line. He will get taken down here as Ballistic Demon is going bananas. That's going to be rebuttal. Not onto anything. Is Charm onto Malbithos. That's going to be another pick there. As Namita Chaos is going to have to flash over the wall there. Can anybody go for it? As Spirit Rush going over the wall too. That's 2 summoners used from Mythic Chaos. And that's going to be a 2-0 in that top lane skirmish here. And they are not going to start the Baron. Too many low health bars and not enough reward for the risk.
Yeah, it was a really good snap engage onto Beta Mana. Everything that we've been praising Feed the Dream for doing, finally Hyrulean heroes picked up on the message and do it themselves. Really good gold generated from those kills, and it's a good thing they got rid of Mel because she had enough Searing Brilliance on a lot of those targets where one press of her R and they were all down, as Ratsu might be dead again.
I honestly, I didn't think. Oh, that's why he flashed. Yup, there's GCC Samurai. You're gonna have to keep going for the fight as the Brittle doesn't quite go onto Ratsu there. GCC Samurai is just gonna run down T-Die, and Noxie and Guillotine will execute right here, and that will be a nice little pick in the bot lane. But no real setup from Hyrulean heroes. They can't really cross map here, so that's going to be a free kill in the side lane over onto T-Die.
He probably could have just killed Ratsu if he had aimed the Bellows Breath correctly and gotten the auto. But I think the important thing to mention in this top lane matchup, early game, we were showing how much Ornn was winning despite being counterpicked and put down, but the 0-3-1 set is almost 1.5k gold up on the Ornn right now because of all of the gold they've gained in the side lanes, all of the turret plates, 26 collected across the team, and most of those going into Set's pocket as the Baron has been started. It doesn't seem like Hyrulean heroes have any idea that this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, they can't really do anything. They don't have their Ornn, so they're just going to have to give that up. And that's going to be a Baron taken by Feed the Dream here at 27.5 minutes. Ratsu, not too sure why he teleported there immediately just to recall. But, you know, the goes to, you know, support his teammates there, you know, set cheerleader. But yeah, I mean, he's up a lot of gold, but he's not really winning into the Ornn still. I mean, he's still having a rough time. But that's going to be all the speed used by the Darius there, not quite going to land with the Apprehend, so barely misses out on that. Drake spawning in about 40 seconds here as all the prio gets erased here by the side of Hyrulean heroes. As Hyrulean heroes, they gotta push this mid lane a little bit here. There's not real any prio to go for as Spirit Rush is down for a good bit of time here as the ornaments are coming through for all 5 members of Hyrulean heroes. We're gonna see now they're gonna reclaim this priority in the river here. Drake spawning in about 20 seconds here as they clear out everything. Buckbee is alone in the mid lane holding that prio, but nobody's bot. Like this set is just completely dominating in the side lane. He's just left all alone. And he's just going to pick up that bot lane tier 2 and Feed the Dream. They're like, you know what, we don't need soul. We're going to make you good use of this Baron. They're going to pick up 2 tier 2 towers in the mid and bot lane here as they start breaking the base open. As now it's going to force Hyrulean heroes to rotate over to defend their base finally as they start rotating towards that top lane tier 2. Ratsu, yeah, he's dead. But it is a is inconsequential as he's getting so much damage. Oh my god! That's a lot of damage as a showstopper comes through as Ballistic Demon! Why are you standing there? He gets taken out there pretty much as a little spectator, an NPC, and he will get taken out as the glacial, that's a little damage comes down to protect that top lane inhibitor, but it will go down now. That's a good slow onto Malbithos. That's going to be Dredge Line onto the Ornn. Does have that rebuttal. It's going to be rebuttal onto 2 members. Flock is going to block that up with the shield, and Vita Mama or Beta Mana will finally get taken down. Puck B picking up that one. And it is just absolute pandemonium here as Feed the Dream are absolutely running the map.
Yeah, and just way too much time spent in the base allows the Hyrulean heroes to pick up some gold. On the other end, they also got the objective bounty and dragon through Kagrin using those Hextech gates, but still massive wins and a massive Baron power play for Feed the Dream, getting the top inhibitor, almost getting the bot lane turret, seeing how strong this set is, and itemizing well for their role. Hullbreaker just purchased. And I want to go all the way back to the dragon setup. It was a really wise decision for them to just start pushing out the waves. If you don't have push, then it's really hard to try and contest the dragon because you're going to give up so much gold. It really doesn't matter if you get the objective or not. But what Darius did in the mid lane by just popping Yumu's and Ghost to get Ahri's ultimate, like Ahri's ultimate is way more important than Ghost on Darius when you're going to be fighting in a small space. So that's very smart for them to continue wisely picking up small advantages before these objectives as Ratsu is going to get dove onto.
Kagrin, and oh my god, you're locking up your team in the Cataclysm, man! You gotta pay attention to that. Ratsu, he's gonna flash forward trying to pick up that kill, and he's nearly winning out on the 2v1, or the 4v1, and that's going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket picking up that kill. Flash away from the dredge line once again. Like, the what is it called? The positioning is not quite there. That's gonna be stun onto Ballistic Demons. GCC Samurai not quite going to land that knockup. Not going to attack him yet. He's going to get stunned up, knocked up. He's just going to get all the knockup going through. Rebuttal onto the Glacial Fissure as GCC Samurai. That's going to be the Golden Eclipse coming down. Not quite as much damage as you would like, but that's going to be 2 low health, blinking health bars for the side of Hyrulean Heroes. They're going to have to back off. No neutral objectives up at all, so they're just going to start claiming some CS in the jungle.
Yep, backing off now after getting the turret. They're struggling to take some of these small wins. I like what Hyrulean heroes are doing to try and overload the side lanes and pick up kills here and there, alleviate pressure. But something, substantial has to come after that. You can't go bot, get a kill, and then just try and recover mid lane.
It's going to be Beta Mama, gonna get stunned up, locked down, and that's gonna be a nice little pick there. Nothing to take yet. Kagrin does have that Cataclysm, so really looking to get that. Darius is behind enemy lines there, trying to look for a nice little flank, but he's going to reset as the wave just immediately gets obliterated by the Sivir Mel combination. So it's so hard to push into those 2 champions unless you can, block everything with the Braum, or you have to get a really good pick onto one or the other, or both, honestly. So now Super Waves are pushing in the top lane. They're going to claim that, and the gold lead's pretty much been exactly the same for the past 10 minutes, as that's going to be a nice little chunk onto GCC Samurai there with the Spirit Rush. So he just gets on out there. As Super Mega Death Rocket not going to land, as that's a big wave there for the Jinx. So she should be getting her, I suspect it should be an LDR right about now, so she will pick that up. GA on Jarvan, so this next team fight is going to be really explosive.
I mean, it has to be. For Hyrulean heroes, they can't continue to bleed out in this manner. They're going to start losing out on these side lanes harder and harder. Darius has begun to index into tank items, so it's going to be more and more difficult to kill this advancing Noxian threat. And Sivir, I feel like in this 1v1 matchup, we haven't talked about it as much just because Jinx is such a hyper carry, but completed items essentially for Sivir. Luxury is all that is left after that Infinity Edge came through. It's going to be so much damage across the low range champs on GCC. Even Ahri, when advancing, is going to be taking a ton from those bouncing boomerangs and the ricochets that will come through from Sivir, as everyone's motioning down towards this Hextech Dragon. It is soul point for Feed the Dream, and Ratsu getting flanked once again.
Yeah, he's going to get taken down here. That's going to be the Call of the Forge God onto Ratsu, but nice little buffer there with the Showstopper. That's 2 flashes for bot lane, and that's going to be the soul taken by the side of Feed the Dream. Like, Kagrin, what are you doing, buddy? As the Super Mega Death Rocket will not land to get that, as that's going to be a nice little Cataclysm onto 4 members of the Death Charge onto the Jinx, as it's a fat team fight. Golden Eclipse comes down, not going to kill anybody as the Noxian Guillotine comes down as GCC Samurai is going bananas in the backline. He's outside the Cataclysm. He's running around getting a triple kill there as he's going to get another apprehend onto Kagren. Does he have the guillotine? And it will not be enough as a quadra kill instead goes over to Buckby.
Buckby teleported into the mid wave, able to flank that entire fight. It was a great Cataclysm, but Jinx still caught some CC on the edge, wasn't able to have the perfect amount of damage output, but did have enough so that Buckby could come flying in and finish off the fight. That's exactly what the Hyrulean heroes needed to try and equalize this game. They did give over Hextech Soul. It is not one you often see teams losing with, especially when you consider the fact that they've got champs like Mel and Sivir on their side, as a teleport goes all the way to the bot lane to pick up that turret. I mean, he's playing a little bit with Bouse and Law. He's 2k up, he's got 6 deaths, he's dying for turrets, he's TPing just a recall. It's got all the qualities of a Bouse in top lane, but
A Bouse enthusiast.
yeah, but has to actually have some more input in some of these team fights. Otherwise, I fear that they're going to go a lot how that last one did.
I mean, he hasn't been in any team fight. I mean, like, the great thing is for how he's playing, like, in a side lane, you need at least, like, 3 people to kill him. Like, it's so hard to kill him. If not, he'll take at least, like, if you only send, like, 1 or 2 people, like, he's gonna kill, like, one or the other, you know? As, GCC Samurai gets that drive-by smite steal there. As T-Dye, he's gonna have to come for this team fight there. He's gonna teleport in finally. Kagren does have a nice little flank angle here, as we're gonna see how they're gonna start up this team fight, as it's just gonna be FTD just backing off completely. I mean, the gold lead is pretty much completely diminished. It's just all the way down to the execution. As Ballistic Demon, you're gonna have to be a little careful, buddy. You're a little too close to the sun there. As if you get hit with the depth charge, you're completely cooked. Darius, they know Darius is mid lane. They are pinging him. They are tracking where he is on this flank. So they're gonna have to be Hyrulean heroes are gonna have to be careful about getting pinched up here, as that's gonna be a glacial bite onto the Ratsu. As T-Dye a little premature with that engage there. Gonna have to be careful. That showstopper will hit really hard if you use the Ornn. So gonna have to be a little careful there. So now it's full priority by Hyrulean heroes, but they use that that very key engage ultimate from T-Dye. So now it's gonna be a little. This team fight is going to be a little rough, as both teams are kind of just playing the tango a little bit. Ratsu is bot lane, does not have teleport, so they could try to pull the trigger here. Is Kagren, he really wants to do it. He just like looking into the eye of the abyss here, and he really wants to do it, as the Baron's going to get started on full vision by the side of Hyrulean Heroes. A good chunk onto Bina Mama, already using that locket. So it's going to be a little bit rough. Now this Baron is getting down lower and lower. 2.5k. Darius is in there. And who's going to get it? It's going to be Kagren picking up that one. As the Noxie and the Guillotine will not lane onto anybody. As Mythic Chaos, he's going to get blocked by the Braum there in the bot side. It's going to be a double kill going over to the Jarvan. That's 2 kills already going over to Hyrulean Heroes and the big purple worm buff. And now the gold lead swings over to Hyrulean Heroes.
They do have a mid wave getting pushed in, so someone is going to have to back and respond to that, as well as Ratsu, who left that fight. I think that Darius came around the corner and smited way too early, potentially anticipating Kagren panic smiting. But because we're so late into this game, you mentioned the gold lead kind of evening out. It's at that point where the gold lead really doesn't even matter anymore. 38 minutes into the game, almost every champ is going to have their core items. Everything else is just going to be the cherry on top. So no need to reset right away after the fight. Means that they can just push an extra turret. Means that Jinx can reset for Guardian Angel. Now we have a mid laner who's about to get Azania's Hourglass to get rid of that broken Seekers. That will be full build for Ahri, Guardian Angel for Jarvan as well. Need to see a little bit more magic resist out of the Ornn maybe to deal with Mel, but that is the only MR threat on the squad. And no Rabadons is pretty concerning. Mel has to hit this spike pretty soon, otherwise it could be bad as be the Mana's hot.
Pen items either. That's going to be a nice little stun onto Ballistic Demon, just completely running past him, as Darius is trying to do as much as he can with that movement speed, as Ballistic Demon will pick up a kill there, going to get put into the GA, flash forward by Kagren, as that's going to be the rebuttal used, but it's going to be a little too early. Will pick up a kill onto the Jinx with the Golden Eclipse, as Kagren is hunting down this Sivir. Does still have that Cataclysm, and he will get it, as Mythic Chaos will get taken down once again there by the Jarvan, as Ratsu is still pushing these is still pushing. He's still split pushing, as Ari is not quite going to do enough damage to him. He's just going to completely take this in her face there. So that's going to be 2 inhibitors down there. Bot lane is going to be about 3 now, as that's, oh my god, that's a lot of damage, as Ratsu will get taken down here. He's going to have to take this with his dying breath. What? Okay. As GCC Samurai, he's not able to stop the rest of the team. That's a 3-man apprehend, but he's going to get stunned up here. He's gonna get exhausted. They're gonna keep hitting these towers as they don't have the jinx, so they're taking it really slow here. They really want to look for that end.
No minions.
GCC Samurai does have that Noxian Guillotine, but that is a Jarvan with GA, all the CC landing onto Buckbee, but it's gonna land right back onto B to Mana. He will get taken down. Spirit Rush, one more charge will be used, as the Super Mega Death Rocket is gonna be thrown out for good measure, as Elder Drake is up in about 50 seconds here, and pretty much full builds across the board for the most part from everybody. About 1 item off for pretty much everyone, as Elder Drake, that's a visual bug. So Elder Drake is up already. So they're just going to take this one here. No real contest. GC Samurai is not even close. So that's going to be the Elder buff for about 3 minutes here, up until the Baron spawns. No flash on Samurai. It means he will not get in that pit, as he is on the wrong side of the rift now. They're going to start chasing him, as they really want to get this nice little pick there, as Kagrin does have the Cataclysm, so they're going to keep chasing him up. He doesn't have, what is it? He has Red Smite. So he will get Cataclysm, he will get taken down, as the heal will not be enough. That's going to be a kill. Kagrin is unstoppable here. Baron spawns in about 2.5 minutes, and now the gold lead is, pretty much just the lead in general, is going over to Hyrulean Heroes as they hold the map.
Yeah, and I mean, everything that Samurai did to stop the Hyrulean Heroes from ending the game by killing the mid wave and giving the turrets that buff, all undone after getting chased down by Kagrin. Was getting gapped early in the game, but recovered well on the Jarvan pick. Now with this mid lane pushing in, no more Baron buff, but the Elder active for the next 1.5 minutes. It's so difficult to actually fight any of these guys. You don't have Darius for another 20 seconds. Super Minion in the mid wave.
That's a nice rebuttal there from the jump, but now that's going to be nice little call. The Forge got onto 2, and that's going to be all the damage coming through. That's going to be 2 quick kills going over to Hyrulean Heroes. Zanya's under the tower for Buckbee, but it does have a Spirit Rush, and he will actually pick up that kill, as that's going to be a kill going over onto the Sivir, and Samurai will come up just in time to be there for the party, as the Nexus will get taken down. Hyrulean Heroes pick up game 1.
That's a tilter. If I'm a Feed the Beast fan, that's a tilter right there. You had it in your hands. Sivir full build, Mel way ahead of the Ahri. You've got a great side lane presence, gold leads in all of your most important lanes. Darius in a great team comp for it. And Nautilus hitting all the hooks, but it just takes one team fight where you don't properly mark the enemy mid laner, and I mean, for me, MVP has got to be Buckbee. This Ahri saved the game with that team fight, and on numerous other occasions was in the right place. The macro really held them together. 45.8k damage in a lane matchup where they were constantly pushed off. So this isn't like those like fake top lane damage charts where you're constantly hitting the other champion. They had to find that in the mid and late game, and that is the reason they won.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we have to pick a player of the game from a winning team, it would be Buckbee. But if I had to pick somebody, it has to be B to Mana. Like
yes.
those engages were so on point. Like those snap engages were so good. Like always getting the priority target and then just absolutely blasting him. But then like I don't know. Like I have to be like straightforward. Like Ratsu, like that was really like bad. Like just that constant splitting wasn't even there for a team fight. 2 KP out of 18 is crazy. Like you get a single showstopper on an Ornn or the Jarvan or the Braum, it's completely cooked. Like the entire team fight's just over. Like you see how he was like in the 2v1s or 3v1s or whatever. Like he was doing great, but then like he just never was there for the team fights. So it's a little roughy there. You're gonna have to go back to the drawing board with how FDD want to play this next game. But for now, we're gonna take a quick little break before we load into game 2. Draft between GCCE Hyrulean Heroes and feed the dream. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, as we skip the bans and go straight into the draft here between GCC Hyrulean Heroes and Feed the Dream. As a quick little recap, GCCE Hyrulean Heroes fight back from an absolute barn burner of a game here as they pick up the game one victory against Feed the Dream. As Feed the Dream, they're going to immediately first pick that Misfortune that Braum out the way. They are free to pick that MF. As looking at the bans, I think they're pretty much the same. Yeah, they're pretty much the same from both sides, just a little mixing match. Actually, they banned the Cassante, or wait, there's a
They banned
Mundo. Oh,
the
never mind. It's the same
Mundo
bands. It's the
instead
same
of
bands.
Caitlyn. But
It's pretty much the same bands overall.
I
Um,
really wish that Nami were a Leona. I
Smolder,
think
Nami.
I
I
think
mean,
Misfortune first pick is so troll.
I mean, Nami is good into Misfortune just because the tidal wave does go through everybody. So you kind of have to be really like precarious with how you position. Like you don't want to position directly behind your team. And Misfortune's Seraphine. So that's an old combo I used to do because the Make It Rain paired with the Beat Drop is really good just to layer that CC. So in theory, in lane and like just overall in the game, it's not that bad. Like you have a lot of setup with those two champs and Trundle being picked up here and Yone, ooh, just to insta lock Yone. So I suspect that Yone is gonna go top because T-Dye does really like to play his Yone. And Trundle,
Yeah.
I suspect that'll be jungle most likely. So I mean, I don't see a lot of Trundles, and this game isn't really indicative of like, hey, should I pick Trundle? It looks good here. No? Oh,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say
Smolder, Nami. I mean, it's a little,
there's no real tanks, and I guess Malphite is still available.
and they
Now
ban
it's
it.
not. Now it's not. So I mean, they're banning stuff that they should be worried about picking, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I like what Feed the Dream have right now. I'm curious to see how Trundle fits in, but their bot lane duo, despite my gripes with Misfortune, I do think this bot lane duo is extremely strong. Seraphine Prio has exploded. It started with just the Ashe Seraphine duo coming into prominence, and then people realized with the uh, Echoes of Helia and the uh, Tears of
um,
the Diadem of
Diadem
Tears,
song.
that the Dino song, that like Seraphine's just really, really strong right now, and constantly able to keep a shield up, does so much damage
Oh,
to use the echoes as a Mumu, staple
oh,
of this elo. I think they're just trying to facilitate as many ways to lock down targets and keep the Smolder and Yone alive.
yeah. I mean, I honestly I like this Amumu pick and Aurelia. Ooh, I honestly Yone Aurelia top lane 1v1 isn't like the worst. I mean, Aurelia in general just kind of like just blasts you early game because like you queue the first three minions, you get the stacks up, you queue the champion, and then like you kind of just run them down. So Yone gonna have to be careful a little bit about that. But I mean, Nami, the thing is about Nami, like Nami's just an S tier pick in general. Echo is at Echo mid. Okay, that very interesting stuff coming out here. I like these compositions here because like they look kind of random, but like they work really well together, like in a team fight in a nutshell. Like you have
Um,
good side lane pressure. You have semi decent engage with the the encore from Seraphine. Like overall, I mean, I like these compositions and Galio pick mid. I'm not that surprised. So it is a Yone top lane into the Aurelia. So looking at these comps, I mean, I I really like these compositions actually. Like it's not that like off the wall as I expect from an IBSG league.
Yeah, and the Hyrulean heroes again have their scaling insurance. Jinx last game, Smolder this game. Yone also scales quite well. Gonna be a hard matchup early, as you mentioned. Aurelia just kind of gets to 4 stacks of the Ionian Fervor and will do more damage than you could ever expect at that point in the game. The Echo mid pick, I do think it's a little bit slept on right now in any elo because of the Dusk and Dawn synergy, being able to auto Q and fully get off the Z Drive Resonance passive and just run away way sooner than you used to be able to with getting all of your damage out is a really, really big spike that I feel like more champs and more people should take advantage of. The Trundle also getting two really good targets for the Subjugate later in this draft in Amumu and Galio. But I am a little bit worried about how well Amumu and Galio are going to synergize with Yone specifically because of the surprising amount of magic damage Yone deals. So you get Abyssal Mask on Amumu plus the passive MR Shred that's going to make Galio value even higher. This could be a surprising amount of damage out of the Hyrulean heroes, and I'm just want to see if Feed the Dream are prepared for it.
Yeah, I mean, game one, as we saw, I mean, there's a lot of like communication things. Feed the Dream, they have a little bit better. They have like honestly, they have a good bit better communication when it comes to like syncing up their engages. So you have beat a mana on a Seraphine. Like you have the Trundle Pillar, you have the Make It Rain for the Misfortune, you have the Echoes, his W, his I forgot what it's called. And Aurelia's ult, because I think her ult slows. Yes, it does.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that Seraphine can kind of like layer upon with the CC. So like both teams, they have really good synergies. I mean, again, like GCC, they have good scaling. Their early game isn't super great, but they have champions that kind of help alleviate that. You know, you got the Amumu with the CC and the MR Shred, like you mentioned. Galio, people always forget Galio's early game damage is super deceptive. I mean, his base damage is absolutely insane. I expect him to go kind of like a tanky AP build, or honestly, a game like this, you could just go like straight AP, just because there's a lot of AD threats. So
Yeah,
I'd probably
this is
suggest going
a
full AP.
this is a potential proto belt game instead of the usual. Probably still want to go the Hollowed Radiance for lane, but then instead of going for like Rift Maker and full tank, you could grab a proto belt, try and do a bit more damage than you would otherwise see. But they do need some front line because right now they have a good amount of dive, but I'm curious to see how they face check and how they make their way into some of these objectives. We know that Feed the Dream are really good at setting up these objectives and prioritizing them. So we're going to have to see if Hyrulean heroes can improve in that measure. Trundle also a pick for Samurai that really fits their play style. All these questions we're going to have seen on the other side of a quick break before we head into game two.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 between GCCE Hyrulean Heroes and Feed the Dream. We are currently on the Rift here. Same players as this time around. Feed the Dream will opt for blue side, and they will get that priority pick misfortune they so coveted here. As now, looking across the board, nothing too crazy here. As it looks like, yeah, Ballistic Demon went for that teleport, so looking for that kind of that early little priority play there. Some early vision there taken by Buckbee and GCC Samurai standing in the bush menacingly here, as he will just instantly clear that out with that canner start. So they will get a general idea of where he is starting, just because you don't have enough time now with the new patch changes to go across the map, drop a ward, go across the map, and all that mumbo jumbo.
Yep. And it is a trade of info for info. They also have eyes on a Mumu starting on the Raptor camp, so not like anyone's going to be left in the dark about who's starting where. I like the Smolder taking teleport, especially in this matchup. If you have to play this pretty incorrectly to put yourself in consistent kill threat. You can take a decent amount of poke and still get sustained up with Nami, so not being under threat of death means you can afford to get a more passive key or summoner spell to try and just make sure you're consistently at a good mana level to keep stacking up your passive to make sure that you can get to that 225 marker as soon as possible. I think Buckbee's dead.
Mid lane, Buckbee, he's real low, no cooldowns left. Top lane, it's going to be more trading back and forth there, as both these teams are going, they're fist fighting a good bit early game here. But shouldn't be too bad there. Flash was used mid lane there by Buckbee, so gonna have to teleport back there. Not a great recall, getting that refillable potion, so not the worst, but not the best. Not something that you ideally want. And I don't know if this is a visual bug, but no, it is not a visual bug. Ballistic Demon did not get an item. He did not start with anything, so it's a little rough there. As mid lane, that's a lot of damage going on to Malbithos, really trying to push that wave in, but looks like he does have that recall left, so he does have that recall and does have the teleport, so can match that teleport pretty early here, so he doesn't get taken down there. But I mean, it's the early game's kind of just going as expected, nothing too crazy. I mean, Mumu's clearing surprisingly a little bit slower than the Trundle, so T-Dye is winning out on a lot of these trades in the top side here. And honestly, this lane is not going at all how I expected it to go. I kind of expected Ratsu to kind of push the tempo a little bit with that, with the Aurelia. But, looks like both junglers are just going to split the map here. They're going to trade Scuttle Crabs.
Good start if you are a Hyrulean Heroes fan, other than, of course, the no items on your AD carry. I would have thought that Ballistic would have just backed and teleport with items once they realized the mistake, but I guess if you're playing Smolder, your job really isn't to do much other than last hit the minions with your abilities and W the enemy champs and just try to get to 25 as soon as humanly possible. I'm assuming that's what Ballistic's waiting for, is to hit that 25 marker, go back, get a call, and maybe a Doran's Blade if you can afford it, and come back out onto the map. Even so, able to be up in CS at the moment, even if it is just a small advantage. And it looks like they were able to push out the wave, so teleport not even going to be needed in the Caulfield's Warhammer, the glowing moat. I don't know. As an AD carry, I think I would have preferred to get some sort of starting item here, whether a call or a Doran's Blade. They are very strong early and a little undervalued just because you always get one, but I guess that completed Caulfields will feel pretty good once you get back to lane.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that CDR before. You get a little CDR and then, you can start kind of going a little bananas. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I would like to see like a Sheen, like Cole or something like that. That would have been nice. But I mean, CDR is nice too. Kagrin, he's gonna get collapsed on here. He does pick up the camp, but he will get taken down. That's a kill going over to Deco, and that's a little bit of a cheeky little invade there from Kagrin, as now it's a pretty sizable lead actually. It's 1k goal lead at 5 minutes. As Buckby, he will get pillared up there. He should just be able to justice punch his way on out there. And yeah, I mean, it's just a little sussy invade there by Kagrin.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is out here praising a Mumu's
Samurai?
early game.
You okay, buddy?
What
As
ability?
that's a lot of slows coming down as the pillar gets dropped and Mythic Chaos is forced to use that flash, beat up mana using that the exhaust. There's lots of damage going down with the Mythic Chaos. Kagrin doesn't have that flank here. Malbito's not going to land any stuns with the parallel convergence as the flash away from the bandage toss here. I don't think he's going to have any more CC. Bandage toss coming up in about 3 seconds here. They really want to push this. Does have that ultimate. That's a nice little sidestep there, but he should just be able to walk on out there. So that was a weird little team fight there, I guess.
It does get GCC the Dragon, though. They had the inside track, and it was a really good flank by Kagrin as Ratsu in an all-in up here.
Yeah,
No mana, though.
The use of the Vanguard's Edge. He's just dashing on in there. Does still have that flash. Does have that Q3. So T-Dye is able to just run on out there. Does have the Cloak of Agility, so does a little bit of damage. Actually, he went for Conqueror, which is very uncommon. You don't really see that nowadays, as he's gonna have to reset there and use that teleport top.
Going Zeal, this is going to be a hard winning matchup for Aurelia once that Bork is completed. I mean, the difference between a kill for Aurelia and Yone getting out in that team fight is Bork. If the slow comes through from the passive, then Yone's just dead. So now Aurelia getting even closer to that, and Yone also going for a Zeal item first. You typically see Bork come out of Yasuo and Yone first before those crit items start coming through. Also, like you mentioned, lethal tempo is generally the preferred keystone, but maybe wanting to just try and match what Aurelia is going to have in the lane was the thought process for that keystone selection. As Samurai making their way to the top side with Subjugate should be an easy kill.
This is going to be a 3-man. He does have the Fate Seal to get on out. Fate Seal, Flash, Q3. He should be chilling here. He doesn't have too much threat, so he does have a lot of ways to get on out if he needs to. That's going to be the pillar going down there. The Soul Unbound. That's going to be the Fate Seal. Nobody blocks it. He just gets on out. The Subjugate is used, and he just gets on out. As mid lane, a little bit of damage there. You know, Echo's going to be a little bit worse for where that, what's it called? That damn Spectre's Cowl is going to be built by the Galio, so he's going to kind of win out on a lot of these trades now.
There's
So-
5. The Avengers are top side. Everyone
They really
is
want
prepared.
these bread. Like,
And it's the worst objective in the game right now.
yeah, like
So Smolder is already 17 CS behind. They're going to give up. Okay, he is teleporting back down, but Seraphine's walking up. They're going to get a decent chunk here. As
the top
he just
lane, I
missed
mean,
the Spear Cleave.
yeah, he missed a lot, but you know, I mean, he's still winning all the trade surprises. And like he said, like I don't know, like I don't see like crit builds, like unless you're Yasuo, just because your passive, your ult passive is so dependent on you building crit. As a bullet time used bot lane, oh, he just barely gets out there. He is absolute demon. Like he held that flash. He doesn't have that teleport now because he used it to go back bot. So now he's gonna get put down even harder now, down 29 CS here, and it's really rough for the Smolder now as he's starting to build up towards the Essence River.
And to go back up to this top side, Yone going for the crit items early, but not having lethal tempo. That means less autos. That means fewer crits. Whereas if you'd gone that Bork earlier with Conqueror, you're going to be having that % max health damage on each and every auto as the Vanguard's Edge is
Vanguard's
utilized.
Edge used, flashing away from the flawless duet there. Honestly, I think he would have been fine if he didn't flash it. But you know, it's you know, just knowing the champion a little bit, so a little scared of that. Doesn't want to get chunked out. Does not have that teleport. So that's gonna be a nice little double beat drop onto Ballistic Demon. He just reset, and now he's gonna get chunked up once again here. He's level 5. He's down like really bad. I mean, back to the thought with the Yone Yasuo thing. Like the reason like Yasuo still go crit is just because like you need crit in order to get the armor pen on your ult. That's the only reason why Yasuo still go crit. Otherwise, like even then, most Yasuos don't even care about the crit. Like they just go Bork and like do the usual like kind of chunky tanky build, and then like Yones they don't really need crit. Like they're not dependent on crit at all. That's why like you just go Bork, you go what's it called?
Mortal Shield Bow. You're going for tanky
Yeah.
crit items, if
Yeah,
anything.
you go like you kind of get a little beefy, just
Yeah.
because your base damage is so high. Once you start getting like those crucial items like the Bork, because the stats on it are just amazing.
Yeah.
So like
And then you
now
get the Infinity Edge just
okay.
because you have, if every single one of your autos is a crit, then you might as well buff them
Yeah,
as
like
much as you can.
yeah, you already got a crit item, might as well index the rest of it towards it. Otherwise, like you can go you can just get a. I forgot what it's called for my life. It's top lane. It's gonna be a nice little feisty one-on-one there. Has full stack conquer on both sides. As T-Dye, he does not have flash. Ratsu does have that flash. He will have to flash away from that Q3, as that's gonna be the two members of FTD going top lane trying to stop that. As a play trying to be made bot lane here. They really want to look for this dive. They know the Trundle is top, so they're gonna look for that 3v2 dive. That's a flash 4 by Malbitos. As that's going to be the Soul Unbound, unfortunately, and he will get taken out right into the Barrel Convergence as it dashes right into the
Time Winder.
little Time Winder there. So,
Yeah, I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that T-Dye doesn't fully know this champ, as Buckbee's gonna have to run away.
Yeah,
Still no finish
he's
Bork.
gonna get chunked, but I mean,
I
it's still a
mean,
lot of
just-
damage.
So many times I've seen Soul Unbound used in very perplexing ways. I don't know if I'm crazy. I feel like if T-Dye just right-clicks Aurelia in that last fight, he just kills her. Like she doesn't
Yeah,
have
she
Bork
flashed
yet.
away. That's why.
But I mean, like holding on to the Q3 and like Soul Unbounding away from her to try and buy time. Like I feel like if he just keeps right-clicking her and doesn't stop, he might.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Or at least force the flash sooner. Maybe
Yeah, I
before
don't
you
know.
have to run. But
I mean, this is IBSG. I ain't holding them to my standards. So
True.
Kagrin
And my-
is looking
and my
for
Yone
a
is
little
trash, though.
invade there. I mean, shit, I'm like Diamond Masters. I still make that mistake sometimes, as that's going to be the CC chain onto the Trundle. He's gonna get taken out here as the bullet time comes through. Kagrin will pick up that kill. Echo actually gets the kill onto the Amumu. So now this Echo is pretty unleashed here, as once again now he has a nice little lead there. As top lane, T-Dye, he has that he's gonna dodge out on the flawless duet there. Does have the plated steel cast, misses out on that Q. Does land that spirit cleave, gonna get a little damage down. But honestly, he trades pretty even, but the Vamp Scepter will sustain up the Aurelia. But yeah, I mean I don't know, like the Yone, like the build's kind of weird, But
yeah,
I'm not gonna judge it. It's working. He's winning the trades, so he's winning the 1v1. So I can't really complain too much about it. As he goes on in there once again.
I'm also not as worried about the Echo. It is going to be obnoxious, but once this game kind of opens up, we're just about to hit the mid game. Once Yone becomes a part of some of these team fights and Smolder starts getting some more stacks, especially once they hit that 125 mark, I feel like Echo it's a very single target damage champion, even though it does have a decent amount of AoE in the build. The amount of consistent AoE damage that can be put down is very minimal. So Galio and Amumu are just going to eat that up all day long, and to get onto Ballistic or T-Dye is going to be a massive challenge. As you see, already half health. Obviously that's Galio, and Galio's base damages are disgusting, but it's going to be so hard for Echo to really answer the Galio in a side wave, or to really push him back in some of these team fights. Kagrin is probably dead again.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead as hell. He's gonna get hit with 2 ultimates, and yeah, GCCE Samurai's gonna pick up that one. But yeah, I mean they have good scaling. Like they're down gold, but it's kind of like a placebo, just because Smolder and MF are both an item apiece. That's gonna be CC chain onto Beta Mana as he flashes away there. Doesn't quite land the encore. Ballistic Demon gonna have to be really careful there. That's an MF that does a lot of damage with a Yumu's only. As Beta Mana, I don't really know about that flash, but he does flash away to avoid getting killed by the Smolder, and almost picks up a kill in return. The Misfortune hits like a truck.
I feel like everyone but Flock played that so weird. Like, Flock did everything right. Just hit the ultimate and try and get the target, and then Ballistic, I feel like they could have gotten in range if they just walked forward,
top
but instead they
lane.
used E.
Hold up on that thought.
Yeah,
Is
oh well.
Ratsu. He's gonna keep going for it. He's as he should. He's gonna land the autos, but that's a full finished pork. T-Dye will get taken down there, flashing into the arms of the Echo. As teleport there by Buckby a little bit late there. Kagren gonna get slowed up with the Time Winder, as that's gonna be no more real follow-up there. As Kagren actually does go in with the bandage toss, but that's a recall out by the Aurelia. Does have that teleport, and pings are coming through. They really want this Herald, or Hyrulean Hero. They want the Herald, but this is not a numbers game that you really want to play here, as Aurelia is teleporting in here onto the banana bush, as Smolder also teleporting for this fight, as that's going to be a taunt only onto one. 3-man stun with the call, the mummy, as Ratsu, he's trying to dash around as much as he can, but he is very squishy. Kagren is so low, he will get taken down, as Echo is running around in the backline. That's a nice little taunt, does still have that chrono break, as Buckby gonna get chunked down lower and lower, bubble onto the Echo, but he will still pick up that kill. Chrono break to get some health back, as T-Dye will pick up the kill onto GCC Samurai. And it's going to be a 2-for-4 team fight victory for Feed the Dream. 4K gold lead at 16 minutes as they keep hitting this Herald. They really, really want that Herald, as Yone does not have the fate unsealed quite yet, as he rushed a Phantom Dancer. I have not seen that in a long time, actually.
Yeah, I don't think being ghosted in lane is that important when you're a champ as mobile as Yone, and Hyrulean Heroes' biggest weakness shows its head once again in that team fight. They had massive AoE CC multiple times, the Curse of the Sad Mummy, the Hero's Entrance, the Shield of Durand, and it just felt like they didn't know who to target. They couldn't get one member down, and Smolder was consistently changing targets over and over again, and they do still have scaling on their side. That is soul point for them. Cloud Soul on this team isn't the worst thing in the world, as this top lane matchup is getting much more in Yone's here. Obviously,
he has
Aurelia.
the Q3, and yep, he's dead. As hey, I mean, the PD's weird, but he's winning. I'll give him that. He's winning.
Aurelia obviously can't hit back because they're in turret range. But we saw in the last fight, when you have the Ionian Fervor fully stacked, when you have Conqueror fully stacked, and have Bork, this Aurelia champ is so impossible to actually kill. As Yumu, Serrated, Dirk, Misfortune, they're still going to pack a punch for quite a bit longer, and the bullet times have been well placed. Gonna have to see the synergy with the rest of the team to see if those continue to be well placed. As Mikhail's Blessing, first item out of Nami, I feel like that's a very wise pickup, considering the team comp they're into.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pickup there. As Ballistic Demon, I don't know why he flashed forward. Yeah, I'm not, hey man, you do what you do. But that was 4 members bot lane for the side of Feed the Dream there, as Kagren. That's gonna be a 2-man encore, but gonna try to land that CC onto Kagren. Just kind of knew he was there, but Kagren gonna pick up that kill using the two ults from the bot lane, I guess, to try to, you know, stop the rest of that and engage, I guess. But, you know, 3K goldie still for Feed the Dream. But
maybe there's a ping issue, and they didn't know that Seraphim was already like way dead, like super dead.
The top lane, that's going to be the Aurelia popping the ultimate Vandar's Edge going through, and yeah, she's still losing these fights. She's still losing the fights. As GCC Samurai will come up here. That's going to be subjugate onto T-Dye here. Does have the Fate Sealed, and he will use that to get on out there. Like, I don't know why they keep going for him, and he just gets out for free. Ratsu flashing away. Does not land the flawless duet. Gonna get taken down. Curse of the Sad Mummy used, as that's gonna be the heroic charge coming in by the Galio. Nice little pillar there to peel his ADC, as Mythic Chaos does have that barrier, using it now to block the damage from the Fate Sealed. That's soul point for the side of GCC, as Echo does have that Herald in the bot lane here. Gonna get a lot of extra money. That goes really, really strong, actually. 503. He's up almost like 2K on his lane opponent, but I mean, it's a Galio, it's a hard counter, so it's a little rough. Kagren is looking for another invade once again here. He doesn't get the blue. He's gonna flash. I don't know what he flashed, but he's just gonna die here, as Mythic Chaos will pick up that kill, And yeah, gold lead still, firmly in favor of Feed the Dream, but I mean, it's kind of a placebo. Looking at the stat counter, Smolder finally hit that little break point there, his second little break point at 125, currently has 130. And Flock, that's a big slow. That's going to be the beat drop as the tidal wave comes through. Exhaust also, Mythic Chaos picking up another kill. So that's going to be Mythic Chaos going on a killing spree there as Smolder forced to use that Mom to clear out the wave there as flash forward or just going for well, I mean, you mentioned a ping issue. That was definitely a ping issue. So he does DC, and yeah, he gets a free kill over to the Smolder, but that's a flash out by Ballistic Demon there, Malbithos, diving in real deep there. So gonna have to flash away from that really fed Echo.
Yeah, ping issue, but not exactly where we predicted it to be. Going to wait for a moment and see. Oh, nope, they moved right out of base, so there was a pause. We get to skip it here on the delay. Misfortune. Now picking up the Collector Hextech Alternator in Echo's pocket as well. Starting getting flashbacks of last game, though. These fights are a bit scattered, and members of Hyrulean Heroes, specifically Buckby, picking up a lot of resources on these side waves. Now, key difference from last game is Ballistic is omega far behind.
Buckby, it's going to be a one-man encore. But that's a tanky Galio. Does it get with the subjugate? T-Die, what the hell are you doing? That is the dubstep combo of the match here. That's going to be Curse of the Sad Mummy onto the Trundle. They're going to lock him down, and they will pick up that one. Baron is a killing spree for T-Die, and Drake will spawn in about 10 seconds.
All right, that's the banana combo in a nutshell. Use all your abilities as Yone, hit none of them, but it was enough to kind of flashbang Samurai on this Trundle. Didn't really know how to respond to that, so ends up just dying. And we're talking about how fed they are.
Here he comes. Let's see what he goes for. He's going straight for the Nami. Bullet time on the 3, but a nice little bubble right on top of him. As that's going to be a corner break onto the backline. Ballistic Demon is going to get chunked up once again here. 2 kills going over to Misfortune. Double kill going down. And Malbito's not quite going to get into range. As that's a nice little bandage toss there. Shutdown going over to the Mumu as Ratsu teleported in. Triple kill going over to Misfortune. Could this possibly be a pentakill here? As Kagrin, that's a nice bandage toss onto the Seraphine here. She will get taken down, and that's going to be a quadra kill going over to Mythic Chaos. Godlike 703 through 2.5 items as the Drake will get started here by Feed the Dream here. Kagrin, no jungler for the side of Hyrulean Heroes, and they will not claim the soul this time.
No, it's an extended fight where they suffer once again. This time, the difference is just their wallets. It's a 5k gold difference, and when you look at the Misfortune versus the Smolder, you look at the Echo versus the Galio. Obviously, Galio provides a ton of value, but damage-wise, Echo did so much in that backline, immediately takes Smolder out of the fight, and with the late addition of Ratsu, they're able to roll them over, pick up their first dragon of the game. Buckby still efficiently able to side lane, as can't really say the same about Ratsu. Hullbreaker picked up now, so hopefully if they can get a unopposed lane, they can keep pushing it in, as Mortal Reminder comes in second. Makes sense in the 1v1, and it is another crit item I typically see on Yone's where, you know, like you said, they're usually just kind of waiting to get towards some more tank options because of how much innate damage is in the kit. So if you're going to go these crit items, you want to go the shield bows, the mortal reminders, as well as your infinity edge, so that you can, you know, have some extra utility. But no infinity edge this game, it wouldn't be very efficient.
And T-Die, he doesn't have the Q3. He will get taken down. Fate Seal will get a block. Ratsu picking up his first kill of the game here. As finally, that gank finally actually, you know, comes up with something. As Baron is up on the table, we're going to see if Feed the Dream can... They're actually going to start up this Baron, but like you said, you know, like, it's a weird build. It's kind of working, but, you know, we'll see. That's going to be a beat drop onto 2. Ratsu could jump over the wall. Going to have to be a little bit careful there, as Kagrin going to get 1v1 the Malbithos there. Flock going to get caught out there. That's going to be a nice little 3-man. At 4-man! Encore into a bullet time, and that will be an instant double kill there. Flash into the backline by Buckby. He will not pick up Mythic Chaos. He's going to keep on autoing as K-Grid is actually going to get killed there. Buckby, he's going back in. That's a CC onto Malbitos, as that's going to be a lot of damage coming down. Barrier coming through, almost gets killed. He's not going to get taken down. Beta Mana will pop that W to heal up his ADC, and that's going to be a big team fight there for Feed the Dream.
The base is absolutely busted. Surround sound keeping everyone alive. It all starts with Flock getting caught out, and it looked like they might escape, but in that thin corridor between the back red wall and the Baron pit, the Encore is just impossible to miss. Hits all the members, and Galio, playing as if they are a high AP threat, flashing forward with the 0 health Kagrin, 7-7-2 on this Amumu, as we saw M de Mana leave once again, left the stage. They already did their main performance, they hit their encore, and then they took off, end of the show, but now we have convinced them to come back on stage. And looking at some other items across the rift, Trundle now building more tank-oriented Shadow Flame and Edge of Night. Really big items. Moonstone Renewer on the Seraphine, despite having the fully stacked tier. Not sure I love that decision, as we are still waiting. We got another 40. Just the spectator buffs. We got about 40 stacks until Smolder comes online, way behind pace.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little slow, unfortunately. I mean, surprisingly keeping up in CS, but looking at the gold, and 13,000 to 8,700. That's crazy. That's like 5K gold down. That's crazy. That's crazy. As Mythic Chaos is going for that LDR next here. Honestly, I would like to see the Shireldas. I'm not gonna lie.
I was just gonna say, I think Shirelda's in a team composition where the enemy team has so much dive, and you want to be able to apply slows to as many chances as possible.
Subjugate onto Kagrin. That's gonna be a 2-man encore, as he's gonna get hit with a parallel converge, gonna get taken down. That's a bullet time, instantly obliterates the Nami. Mythic Chaos is gonna go legendary, as that's gonna be the jungler down for the side of Hyrulean heroes, and that's going to be the Baron claimed by the side of Feed the Dream here, as this game is looking fairly decisive. And they'll pick up the Baron here at about 27.5 minutes. Smolder is at 208, so he's really close. But at this point, honestly, I don't even think Smolder hitting 225 would really matter at this point.
Yeah, not where you want to be item-wise, on top of hitting that execute break point. So going to need to do a little bit more than just hit the passive.
Is he building a cleaver?
I mean, the only other thing that built into that is the Shojin. He's already got it. So
yeah. Right. Well, oh, he died. Yeah, he's dead.
Block.
He's just dead. And not really. Oh, he flashes out. Slow down. That's going to be Echo going forward, and that's going to be the Damguard's edge going down. Tidal Wave going to land right on the edge onto the jungler, so they will pick up that one. It's going to be a 1-for-1, but a lot of cooldowns there used by the side of Hyrulean heroes. Good. That's going to be a 3-man stun into a 3-man encore. Misfortune is still going bananas, as Ballistic Demon going to have to flash away there. Double kill going with the Misfortune, as Drake will spawn up here. Not going to be anything spectacular for the side of Feed the Dream. They got the soul point at like 20 minutes, so they kind of stall out this game a good bit. So they're gonna pick up this Drake here. Not gonna use. That's gonna be a good little waste of the Baron here. They got that for about another minute and a half. So getting that Drake, slows down Feed the Dream just a little bit there. But I've seen Smolder's build Cleaver. I'm not too sure why, because you don't really have too much AD threat outside of your Yone, because he already has Immortal, so like you really don't need the Cleaver. Like just go like Shirelda's or LDR at that point.
If anything, I would suggest Yone go with the Cleaver, because the Randuin's Omen on the other end. Try and cut through some of the armor.
I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
they do whatever. As a
I mean,
ballistic, ooh,
my main
almost gets
suggestion would be
caught.
that no one gets it.
He says, "What? Wait. That smolder actually does a ton of damage. Actually, wait, hold up. I might have stood corrected there. That smolder Q took like a quarter of that Trundle's HP. That's actually kind of crazy. T-Die using the Fate Sealed flash or getting away from the Vanguard's edge there. He does. You gotta have to be careful. That Yone does a lot of damage. Not gonna flash away from the flawless duet there. Not able to get away. That's gonna be a two-man curse of the Sad Mummy. Gonna get all the CC down onto the Aurelia and the Trundle. They will get taken down eventually there, but the bullet time is right on the dot. Triple kill going over to Mythic Chaos. He can absolutely do no wrong this game. 17, 0, and 5. He has 17,000 gold. He is pretty much half the gold lead for his team. 15.6k gold lead for Feed the Dream. Going to go up to about 16 and a half. And they will pick up a very clean victory in game 2 here against GCCE Hyrulean Heroes.
Damn the record, damn the standings. Feed the Dream, keep their playoff hopes alive going into the deciding game 3. And any doubts that we had about Misfortune first pick put to rest, carried the game immensely, 17-0-5 as you mentioned. And even after how far ahead Echo got early game, just completely dwarfed with the effect this Misfortune had. And, don't really want to put all of it into the fact that the opponent in lane didn't buy items at the beginning and couldn't really pressure that much and then just snowballed from there. But this was a really complete team win. What a turnaround from game 1. It's nearly an 8k gold lead in the 80 carry position alone, while behind 9 CS.
Yeah, I mean, this game, like, win or lose, like, the player of the game by far goes to Mythic Chaos. Like, that was crazy. Like, just every single ultimate was, like, placed so perfectly to get as much value as possible. And the positioning, like, Mythic Chaos actually, like, reached flow state this game. Like, actually could do no wrong. 22 KDA, 29.6k damage, like, by far the most in the game. And, like, yeah, I mean, he was just perfect, like, this game. Like, there's really nothing to, complain about.
Yeah, and
But
going
for now,
into game 3, we did see the bans shift a little bit. Stuff like Caitlyn was more prioritized. So now, could we see the Mundo move into first rotation because it wasn't banned away? Are we going to see GCC go back to the blue side? As you take a look at the gold chart, all you can see is blue. Steady increase throughout the course of the game, winning on all sides, fixing the sides that weren't going as well for them. Real team win for Feed the Dream after their game 1 performance. Can they continue this momentum heading into game 3, or will it go back and be a Hyrulean Heroes victory? We'll find out in our draft for game 3 after this break.
Welcome back, everybody. As we get into the last and final draft here of the lower bracket quarterfinals between GCCE Hyrulean Heroes and Feed the Dream. GCCE Hyrulean Heroes will opt for red side this game. But overall, I mean, it looks like the bans are looking to be the same here, as the Mundo is left open. So we'll see if Feed the Dream look to pick that up. But Gwen is also open on the other side, so we'll see how they want to pivot the draft here. Because like honestly, looking at how they've been playing, I don't really know what Feed the Dream could look to priority pick this time around here. Because
We
like they're kind of
saw,
just really good at everything, a little bit of everything, you know.
yeah, we saw Samurai honestly played well in both games and played well on the Trundle last game. I think you just rip the Mundo. It's a flexible champ. I'm not sure how Ratsu feels on it.
Ooh,
They're gonna go. Okay, so I
Jin.
talked about Misfortune last game and how I don't love it first. Like Jin is so counterable. If you pick like 2 or 3 champs with high HP bars, this guy just can't do anything. But I do think that they should try and get themselves a winning bot lane duo. We were talking about Yunara in the break. I think Yunara Lulu right now could do pretty well. Okay,
What?
or
Oh, okay then. Well, there's
you have to pick Rakan though because Jin Rakan is very good, and I don't think you want
uh,
to give that up.
Jin Rakon's like it's like eh. It's not like super good. It's not super bad. It's kind of mediocre.
They should
There's
also
like
take
better
away
combos.
Mundo
Yeah,
because
honestly, I want to see a Mundo pick here. Like Mundo is just so good, like into Jin and
yeah,
whatnot. Because like realistically, are they gonna play Gwen top or Gwen jungle? I highly doubt it because I don't see it from either of these two. And they're gonna pick the Rakan. So Nautilus is gone. That is a hard counter to Rakan. So curious to see what Feed the Dream go for here. Because like honestly, I still think like Mundo plus support here is really good.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
top of
Leona
my, I was
Leona is
thinking
actually good.
Leona is the other support that hard counters Rakan. You can cancel the grand entrance just by Q and clicking on him. Really, really oppressive lane. I was thinking for a moment Bard, it's a great Jin lane, but Xayah can so easily dodge from that Tempered Fate that you don't want to fully index into that just yet. And as you're mentioning, you take the Mundo now. I don't see much Gwen presence on either of the players who would take it. They're gonna go
Silas?
Silas
Oh.
instead. This is a champ that's been kind of in and out of the meta all year long. I don't think anyone's really settled on a most viable build. I see it most as like a bruiser more than like an assassin right now. But it does have at least one really great ultimate to steal with Rakan.
Yeah, you have the swiftness from Rakan, so that's a good ult. Xayah ult's like eh. And Bess, what? Okay. Okay, these teams are just picking whatever they want here.
I
So I
actually
mean,
like the Mbessa here because you can ban away a lot of the counters in these spots. Now, again, this is the thing with IBSG. Like, the 2 biggest counters in best are Renekton and Volibear. But if the enemy top laner doesn't play those champs, then it's like, well, it's just not.
ooh,
We don't have
okay,
to worry about banning them.
so Renekton's up. So this Mbessa is a flex.
Mhm.
So in theory, Feed the Dream. I mean, like they can pick mid lane here, hold the flex, and if you lock Renekton in, then you pick some weird mumbo jumbo, like counters to Renekton. Like you could pick like Gnar. You can pick Gnar if you want.
Mhm.
I mean Casante's banned. You can do Rumble's banned.
See what you got.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Zahen's
Yeah,
all
Zen's
right.
not bad either.
Yeah,
It's like
you
eh.
can withstand a lot of it. Mordekaiser's okay later.
Sejuani?
I think
What?
Sejuani and Bessa is really good. You can stack up Sejuani. I am a Sejuani like believer. This champ got buffed 4 patches in a row last year. Still didn't see any high level play.
And
If you
Trundle is gone.
if you
So
pair it with 2 melee lanes, it can be so good. And for mid lane, you still
Shen?
have a. Oh, that's not
I'm
terrible
surprised
into
he didn't.
Bessa, but it's not
It's
like
actually
great.
like Shen like plays good early, like usual, but like later on he just kind of gets fisted. Like it's
Mhm.
not that good. So like later on, and Bessa, I mean her early game isn't super great, but like you hit the W, the damage is gone. No theory.
It's really good into
Okay,
Sejuani. I'll tell you
it
that.
is, but like this team has zero tank shred. They are not getting through Sejuani. You also keep in mind, Rakan is considered a melee champ.
Yes,
Rakan is a
okay.
melee champ.
I'm gonna say something crazy here, and it is played by Buckby. Cho'Gath mid
Cho'Gath
it
mid actually goes crazy.
would be insane. Even Scion is a little bit further out of the meta, but I think that would go.
Morgana!
It's in Buckby's play. I think this is a really risky draft from Hyrulean Heroes because what we've seen them win on is scaling AD carry in mid lane. And right now, what they have is you need T-Die to win you this game. Because from what we've seen performance-wise and on this champ, Ballistic doesn't really have the tools. Kagran, full facilitator. Same with Buckby. So it's all on T-Die to get out of this lane and win them these fights.
Like, in an ideal world, like, Ballistic has to pop off. He has to pop off, or like this game's completely fried. Because both these teams don't have like, well, the Mbessa is tank shred, but Feed the Dream, they don't have a lot of tank shred. Like Sejuani is going to be a menace. Silas has 4 really good ults to steal. So like a game like this, it's all about positioning. The Xayah has a lot of tools at her disposal to help. You have the Black Shield, you have Rakan, like you have so many, and you have the Featherstorm. Like you have so many good things going for yourself that this game should just be, a Hyrulean Heroes W. But like with how these games have been going, like Feed the Dream, they get really good consistent leads, like for the first 2 games, and then like they kind of just run away with it to an extent. So like a game like this, honestly, like I really couldn't tell you who's gonna win. Like this is kind of off the rails here. This is only game 3 Fearless.
Yeah, and we're already dipping this deep into the bags. I think Silas with Sejuani ultimate is like omega strong and can start a ton of good fights. Same with quickness, but that is not exactly how we've seen this player in Malbethus play. Last game on the Echo did a good job finding some assassinations, but just really had to rely on other champs to finish off those kills. Now has the ability to continue facilitating throughout the team fights. I'm excited to see what Beta Mana can do on the Rakan this game. Maybe we can see, or excuse me, on the Leona, trying to find some picks as well. Maybe prevent the engages from Mbessa. However, it turns out we will see on the end of this short break, heading into Game 3, our last game of the playoff games today. See you there.
Cool. Welcome everybody to the last and final game of the lower bracket quarterfinals between Feed the Dream and GCCE Hyrulean Heroes. Hyrulean Heroes opt for red side this time around, or once again, and it's the same exact people as before, and it is going to get really spicy here because whoever loses here goes home. There is no more second chances, as already Feed the Dream, they're looking for some shenanigans. That's going to be a bind onto the Silas. He will get stunned up. Nope, dashing away there with the chains. He's going to go back in. Does have 2 stacks on him. That's a flash away by Kagrin, and that's going to be first blood going over to the Nefiri. T-Die, he does have the flash, but he will get taken down. Double kill going to Malbithos, as Great Entrance will not land. GCC Samurai is going to get ignited. That's a kill going over to Buckby. It's going to be a 2-for-1, but Malbithos is already up about 600 something gold here on his lane opponent, as Ballistic Demon is just going to get completely zoned off the wave there, not even going to be able to pick up some XP, as the Zenith Blade is going to completely whiff.
I mean, that has been brewing since game 1. They have had very aggressive early game setups. A lot of Raptor vision, a lot of pushing into the enemy jungle in every single game. We were due for a massive fight, and it could not have gone better for Feed the Dream. Even the Silas going down, he's able to just open up back onto his camps, and Kagrin died as well, so it's really not the end of the world. He also got a summoner out of Flock, which means that this bot lane that's already hard losing for them getting even worse.
Now Zenith Blade going a little too deep there. Exhaust onto Ballistic Demon. I'm not too sure why Beta Mana took exhaust in a lane like this, but no buff.
Yeah, maybe just fearful of getting all in over and over again despite being in a winning matchup. That's another thing we talk about in these IBSG leagues is, you know, how well is your knowledge of these matchups? Can you go into a champ select and know whether or not it's a winning matchup or not? So we'll see how that transpires. Also will be annoying later in the game for T-Die, who we keep mentioning. You know, Ballistic is in a good setup because you got Leona, Nefiri, Silas, Shen. All of them are going to be going forward, which means it's going to be so easy for you to get massive Blade Caller combos, snare everyone down, get a ton of damage stacked up. But other than Xayah, it's all on this Mbessa. It won't have to worry about closing the gap as much because all of those champions I mentioned earlier are going to be diving into you. It's like Darius from game 1. You don't have to worry about that big weakness because the other team is going to get around that for you. But my biggest concern right now for GCC is what happens when Nefiri goes back to base and spends this 500 gold that's sitting in their pocket.
Yeah, honestly, I like Cleaver plus Eclipse is like a really good build here this game. Yeah, I mean the gold league is pretty much all on Malbithos. Didn't go for that teleport, went for that ignite. So I mean,
I think that T-Die might have had a kill angle there.
Yeah, I mean he's actually doing a lot better in this lane than I thought. Like Ratsu's
he-
just getting chunked like crazy.
He had all his cooldowns up. He had his
Bot
ability
lane.
to
Whoa,
actually flash.
that's crazy! Flashing over the wall there. Blade Claw only onto one, going for that very slippery Recon. So you can't really go for either one of them. You know, Ballistic has a cleanse. Recon is too slippery, so it's a little roughy there. As Beta Man already using his flash.
Yeah, your Freudian slips, be damned, playing okay in these games. That's kind of a crazy play to go for, honestly. I mean, it's the lovers duo. The whole thing is that Rakan can dash from so much further away. So if you do not permanently lock this champion down, as long as Ballistic is within earshot, they're in trouble. As I don't know how he's tanking it. I mean, it's really
then.
they're putting the lovers duo to a whole new standard. Really, you know, blocking damage for one another. It's a bit cringe, but you know, it's level make you do crazy things.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean Flocky's hitting these little quivers, so I mean it's healing up pretty well. I mean, wait, I just looked away for like a split second. Xayah was completely even. Now she's down 10 CS. Like what? Okay. Like he's gonna even it up. He's gonna, you know, fast push this wave here. I don't know why he's placing that ward. He's gonna reset soon enough, but gonna fast push that bot wave, gonna pretty much even up the gold a little bit there. But I mean, it's outside of Neferi's lead. I mean, the game's still dead even. Like, Malbitos is 2-0, but neither team is really kind of like capitalizing on that, and that's something that Hyrulean Heroes really likes. The Neferi isn't really accelerating the game as much as she would like to do here, as both junglers get their first resets off, gets full items, as Drake is started up by the side of Feed the Dream here. Kagrin is going to come spot that out, but he is going to get stopped here. It's going to be a 4v4 now. We're going to see how this goes. Black Shield on the Morgana. Going to get that nice little stun. A lot of damage coming through. Going to get the binding through everything. But now it's going to be a fight. There's a two-man Blade Caller back, as that's going to be Shen joining up the fight there, as the Beta Mana is going to get slowed down by the Drake here. Flock going to pick up a kill. 2 kills going over. Blade Caller pulled back. That's going to be 1 picked up for him. Mythic Chaos. You're going to have to flash away from the Dark Binding. That actually had to cleanse here. I'm surprised he didn't use the cleanse. But it's going to be a pretty even team fight. It's actually going to be a team fight win for Hyrulean Heroes here at 6 minutes at the Drake.
Yeah, it's what we mentioned when we were outlining both of these compositions and what they want to do. Shen uses that Stand United to come down, but all of these champs... Oh, well, hold that thought.
That's going to be an ult there. Not going to even land the Dark Binding, just like we talked about before. And cast a little bit of a caster curse there, as finally Malbitos is going to start leveraging that lead here. So we're going to pick up a solo bolo in the mid lane there, and moving up to 3-0.
Yeah, back to that dragon fight, when all of the members of Feed the Dream barrel into this blue jungle corridor, it just sets up Xayah so perfectly to do so much damage with Blade Caller after Blade Caller. Allows him to win that fight as Kagrin just tanking up everything. This is one
actually has his team here, so Kagrin actually could have just kept going for it, but
no glacial prison.
Drake started up here. Gonna have to try to get in there. Does have to flash, and he won't steal it. Grand Entrance not gonna hit onto anybody. Dark Binding onto Leona. She's gonna get the first person to get taken down. Blade Caller, Malbito's gonna get rooted up. Is gonna be able to go over the wall. That's gonna be picking up level 6 there. Kagrin gonna pick up that one as all the chains coming through, and Ballistic Demon is balling out. 3-0-2 here at 7:40 at the Drake fight.
Maybe that's been the key the whole time. Stop giving them scaling champs and start giving them champs that have ability earlier in the game. I mean, Xayah, in these ideal circumstances, stacks up this Blade Caller, just puts out so much, and all the meanwhile, it doesn't change the fact that T-Dye is going to be important. They've been able to just sit up here and free farm, winning this matchup so hard. They've got a turret plate in their pocket already because of Shen going down to that losing team fight earlier. So everything that could be going your way so far is, and the only real concern right now is this Neferi champ going ballistic, but you've got so many ways to stop that from happening. You've got a ton of reliable CC and disengage. Obviously the Call of the Pack is a super impactful ability, but you can only invuln so much before you become tangible again and can be hit by a binding or be hit by a Sejuani Q. That doesn't make this lane any less miserable, though, for Buckby.
I mean, that's a great thing about playing like a supportive champion. You're not too dependent on gold. All you have to do is pop the Black Shield on somebody and clear waves with your Tormented Soil. As top lane, I mean, you mentioned T-Dye is having a great time in this lane, up to 20 CS here, doing really good. Gold-wise, it looks like Ballistic Demon is up 500 gold. Not as much as you would like, just because of the CS deficit, but, it is what it is. But right now, I mean, it's, Hyrulean Heroes, like, they're in a nice little spot here. It's not too bad here. Buckby's clearing out these waves pretty efficiently. I mean, Malbitos hasn't really been able to walk up and just auto the tower or do anything like that. That's just the nature of the melee range matchup. Ballooning to 1.1k in the mid lane. But for now, I mean, Malbitos roaming bot here. Gonna use that call of the pack here. Gonna get rooted up under the tower. Gonna get charmed up. All the CC going through. But that's going to be Shen coming down with the ultimate also. And that's gonna be the rest of Hyrulean heroes coming in here. Ballistic Demon gonna have to be really careful. Glacial Prince onto Flock as he is trying to get on out there. That's gonna be a kill on by the Jin. No! Why didn't you block it? What are you doing? K-Grid!
Absolutely
K-Grid!
spells out his ADC and his support for that matter. Mystic Chaos almost getting the kill, and now Samurai coming through. 1W will do enough. The Kingmaker slays the boar. And now it is completely turned on its head. T-Dye didn't even really get that much on the other side of the map. The gold lead's still the same. And I hate to bring this up because of just like what the league is, but the Ember game time is just not there. The way they've been using their abilities, I can tell. The repudiation is coming out way too frequently. You have to use that.
Just use the ult! The kill! Oh my god.
That too, I didn't even think of that, but he's using repudiation as like a gap closer. That has to be used only when you're tanking damage. It gives you so many stats if you take damage during that very brief window.
It like doubles the damage. Like the
Yeah.
moment you see like Shen trying to posture to like go in or like auto you with the empowered autos, like just W.
Yep.
Like use your E to gap close and then use your W forward and then just run him down. Because he's up 40 CS. Like he's up a good amount of gold. Like the mid lane gold lead has pretty much been the same the entire time. Jin is now up gold on the Xayah here as T-Dye. He's looking for the fight again, using the ult. Nice, kind of like a nice little buffer there. Does have the flash, gonna go forward, but Shen used the flash also. Silas is here to reinforce here as T-Dye gonna get flashed on. He's gonna flash scope, dodge the ultimate, but Malbitos is there also. 4 members of Feed the Dream going top lane, and let's see if they can do anything on Mystic Chaos. That the lane gets pushed in, and that is going to be Mythic Chaos. Gonna have to back on out there. Does have the flash, does have the cleanse, and that's going to be the dash forward with the Arctic Assault. And not gonna claim anything else there. No Solar Flare from the Leona, so can't really continue the rest of that play. But that's a lot of extra gold into the Xayah's pocket. Now the gold lead going into her favor a bit here, as the Nefiri went for a Serpent's Fang first item here. Honestly, that's pretty good. It's very gold efficient.
Yeah, it's a more and more common itemization for Nefiris, and a lot of lethality champs, when they get super far ahead early, if you get these cheap items, you can continue that spike longer.
Maybe a bit of a team fight as Buckbee's just walking straight in with the charm as Shen's gonna ult on in here. Lots of damage onto the Silas. Ballistic Demon is getting completely zoned off there. He's not in the fight. Solar Flare onto Morgana, gonna flash away. As no, you kill your jungler as you hit the blast cone there. As Malbitos, he's gonna get autoed by the Xayah. They're still autoing the Drake even though your jungler is dead. So, it's gonna be a 1-for-1. No junglers alive. That's gonna be a nice little dark binding onto the Shen there. No real hit with the root. That's gonna be a 2-man taunt. And lots of damage going on to Ballistic Demon. There's the Black Shield on top of him. Malbitos going back in with the ultimate as he will go pick up a kill there. Mythic Chaos getting the other one. It's going to be a team fight win here for Feed the Dream.
And T-Dye doesn't even think about teleporting down there. He says, my team's
Oh my god, he had to teleport.
my team's a bunch of inters. I have public execution. Only gets 1 plate even. I mean, it was just really well played from Malbithus in particular, zoning away Ballistic throughout the entire fight, making sure that their biggest damage threat can't enter. Well played by Buckbee to get the Silas down as soon as possible, but in the end, it really just doesn't make a difference when your Xayah, when your AD carry is not able to get any uptime, and all the meanwhile, Mystic Chaos putting out a ton of damage on this Jin. Quietly 4-0 and 4. Last 2 games having incredible standout performances. We were talking about how it seems like Ballistic has found their style of champion with these earlier mid-game spiking AD carries, but I think on the other side, these lethality ADCs with a ton of damage with low attack speed seem to be what Mystic Chaos gravitates towards most, as It's gone up duck.
Mid lane is gonna gank onto the Morgana. Soul Shackle's going down under the tower. As you're gonna get hit with the Solar Flare. 2 stuns under the tower. Leona gonna be the first one to die. As that's gonna be a nice little trade there for Buckby. Mythic Chaos does have that curtain call. Could use it mid, but he's not gonna use it. So that's going to be a nice little turn there for Buckby. But like you said, I mean, Ballistic, I don't know. Like, I think these team fights are just going bad just because of, like, the execution just quite isn't there. Just isn't there quite, you know? Like,
Yeah, it feels like they're not all on the same page because, like, Flock and Buckby are consistently doing the right thing. Like, Flock was able to get so much CC down, lock down Silas so that Buckby could
hold
get
up on
both
that.
sides
Mythic
of it.
Chaos gonna get knocked up there. Gonna use the cleanse. Stand United onto the Jin. Will they kill him before then? Yes, they will. And that's gonna be an easy shutdown. Glacial Fissure are gonna go completely wide, and that is going to be a gold swing right back into Hyrulean Heroes' hands, as that's going to be a big shutdown going over the Ballistic Demon. And the Stand United also used GCC Samurai is half HP in his jungle, so is Malbithos. So that should be a free Herald for the side of Hyrulean Heroes. And once again, like, I don't know, like, with these teams, like, they're just fist fighting. Like, they don't care about the macro. They do it for the love of the game.
And I love sometimes in these moments looking at, like I could try and tell you how that fight went down, but I could also point out that this entire play, Buckby's just pushing bot lane, just denying waves, just getting some plates for themselves, and that's, you know, actually the correct play. You don't have teleport. If you roamed over, you wouldn't have gotten there in time anyway, so I mean, probably denied like 2 whole waves by continuing to push that in, and no one's picking that up. At this point, with 5 kills on the Fury, you would have expected to see that mid lane lead. The map play, Buckby has been able to keep it low, well, low proportionally to where it could have been, as Xayah back into this game, only 2 KP away from where Jin is. And I think a big thing to mention in the jungle matchup right now is that Silas, when behind, really can't provide as much. They're not behind now, but Sejuani from behind is still a quite valuable champion. Can put down a ton of CCs, tank a bunch of damage, long-range lockdown that pairs really well with the rest of your team. My only concern right now is some of this itemization. I know that HP scales extremely well on Sejuani. I'm just a bit nervous for Kagran's ability to get consistent stacks on the Heartsteel.
I mean, you're against 4 melees. It should be fairly easy. But I mean, you're gonna get chain CC. Like, you really need to get like something like a Zeke's Convergence or a Protoplasm Harness, stuff like that. Just because like you kind of get like the free Protoplasm passive, just because it scales off your bonus resist, and you get that from your passive. So it's kind of like just free real estate, you know. But right now, I mean, the gold lane's pretty much dead even. Like, T-Dot really wants that tower, and Ratsu really wants to stop it, but he's getting chunked like crazy as the bot lane of Hyrulean Heroes looks to go for that. That's a nice little biting onto the Nefiri. He's going to get stunned up. He's going to get burned down. Solar Flare onto the Morgana. And once again, Buckby is turning it around. And he gets another kill in return. That's going to be the public execution onto B the mana. And holy cow, Buckby is making the plays happen. As we say that, Kagran pops the Herald top lane for no real reason because there's nobody there. But mid lane, they're going to pick up that tower, and that's going to be 2 towers taken by the side of Hyrulean Heroes, all on a single play of a dive bot lane by Buckby.
And in my mind, all I can think of is like, why is this your priority? Like, why is this the play you're looking to make over and over again?
He died? Oh, he didn't hit the Q2. If he actually hit the Q2, he kills.
It is Sundering Slam. I couldn't remember. It is, other than ultimate, the most important ability in Embessa's kit.
Ooh, hold up.
In taking down
Is,
these
there CC Samurai gonna have to be a little careful. Leona is there, but I honestly don't think she helps too much, as that Merc treads Embessa. Oh my god, my brain. As Silas once again, never mind. Brain fart. Silas takes the public execution there, but like you said, like the Silas that's behind, it's a little rough. He's not tanky, he's not doing damage, so like it's just really rough for him. And like Sejuani, like she's gonna be doing, she's gonna be chilling regardless. The beauty of playing tanks.
I actually, on a somewhat of a side note, I saw a new build. Some people were doing Silas like Roa early, but you just don't have the damage until it spikes, and even then still you're pretty far behind, and then you end up buying a proto belt anyway, which is like, why don't you just build a proto belt and then go for more damage? But I have been seeing some people go Hextech Gunblade on Silas. You're auto attacking a lot. You want to auto attack as much as you use your abilities, because if you're passive, gives you that extra burst, gives you some slow so you can stay on top of your target. I haven't really seen it expand past like first item into Rocket Belt second, but I wonder if that's something that we might see more often as we head firmly into the mid game here, maybe even cresting on late game. All of our lanes have unlocked, and the real first item for Neferi has come in. The Serpent's Fang, quick, easy purchase early, but the Cyclo Sword now available. This champ stacks that so quickly and gets those energized auto attacks. If the champ could even do more damage, as Zeke's Convergence built for Sejuani and for Rakan.
Like honestly, I would like to see the Neferi do the like the kind of the bruiser build, just because you're playing into a lot of tanks, so it would have been pretty good. Honestly, I would like to see that Eclipse Cleaver. But hey, I mean, this build's working too. 1 and 5 up. Like, I mean, he's still been up 1,000 gold, roughly 1,000 gold on his lane opponent, like this entire game. But now, I mean, big items are coming through. The Zaya's already built 2/3 of her IE, finished 2 items, Essence Reaver and the Navori Quick Blade. So like this Zaya is really, really strong. Like we were talking about, like Ballistic Demon really needs to step up, and he really has. Like 4, 1, and 2, and utilizing these tools very well. I mean, the first couple games weren't super great. Like just getting caught out a lot, always getting hit with the skill shots in team fights, being like one of the first people to die. But now this time around, like they're playing around him, and now he's really unlocked in these team fights, like playing into a comp that really complements his champion. So, I mean, 2.6k gold lead for Hyrulean heroes. They're getting a lot of prio around this Baron, so they do have a lot of Baron damage. It's a Sejuani with another melee and a Zaya, so they do a lot of damage to this Baron. So they feed the dream. You're gonna have to be a little careful. Glacial Prison taken by the Silas. And right now, both teams are kind of just, doing the hokey pokey around this Baron pit. As
I do think,
yep, he's gonna get caught out there. Gonna Black Shield the Glacial Prison, but that's teleport coming through for T-Die. They still want this fight. Leona gonna get caught out here. Stand United onto the Silas, flashing away. Public Execution onto the backline. Curtain Call gonna be used. Ballistic Demon kind of getting a little zoned out there by the tanks, but still hasn't pulled the feathers back quite yet. They're waiting for that perfect moment, and he's gonna get it. Ratsu gonna be taken out now. Beta Mana gonna go in onto the Zaya. That's a perfect picture, perfect cleanse there. GCC Samurai gonna get taken out also. Triple kill going over to the Zaya, and that's going to be the Baron started in a 4v5.
I mean, I was thinking they wanted to wait to start this objective until they had that Infinity Edge onto the Zaya. That's the biggest spike you're going to have all game. But as soon as they blow so many cooldowns to kill off one member of Hyrulean heroes in Buckby, who's essentially, like we've been saying, their second support, that's go time. And you see how patient Ballistic was with the Blade Caller, waiting until all 4 champs lined up to get as much damage down as possible. And they peeled so well for Zaya. It's just a really good recipe for success in winning this game. Now the Infinity Edge in inventory. That means this champ's going to get even stronger. And I'm trying to theorize a way for Feed the Dream to win one of these team fights, but now that T-Die is fully with the team, Sejuani has so much tank, it's just like, how are they going to reliably get onto the Zaya or press away the Mbessa? They can't do both at the same time, and it's only going to get more and more difficult to withstand what's going to be put out. Now Kagrin a little bit too far
Another
forward.
team fight. That's Glacial Prison onto the Rakan. Black Shield onto him. No Soul Fire will not happen. Featherstorm onto the backline as Silas is going in all alone there. Ratsu does have a flank. Flashed away by the Zaya. She's going to get peeled up. And that's a Blade Caller right on top of the Nefiri. The Ballistic Demon living so long. Ratsu will pick up that shutdown. Actually, no, it's going to be the Nefiri. But that's going to be Sejuani taken up in the front line. Ratsu will get taken down here. Buckby picking up that one. Public Execution onto the Leona. She will get taken out. And that's going to be a team fight win. Hyrulean Heroes is going to be a 4-for-1 here. And that's going to be Hyrulean Heroes making great use of this Baron here for about another minute and a half. They're going to knock down the mid lane tier 2, and they're going to start breaking the base open here at about 25 minutes.
I mean, they waste so much, I shouldn't say waste, they use so much to dive onto the back lines and get ballistic, but it's just a repeating story over and over again. They take out one member, great, good job. T-Dye's not even there. As soon as Mbessa arrives, it's a completely different fight. Damn your numbers advantage. This champion just rips through your entire team and doesn't even really need a lot of items to do so. Just goes in with the Spear Shojin, the Eclipse, and so much packed into the kit of this champion. So hard to press them off. And meanwhile, I think we're talking so much about 180 carry. We got to look at the other. I mean, Jin had a very healthy advantage early in this game. Now 2.7k down, sitting on 2 not so great items. Infinity Edge does well with Jin, but paired with that Collector, I mean, in season 2026 or season 16, we have all the numbers say Hexoptics is better than it, but also I think Storm Razor is just such a perfect Jin item. Really wants to be the Rush, and had the ability to do so this game. They got a lot of early gold into Jin. Would have been possible, but we're here now, and this is why I get nervous about these early Jin picks, because you pick Sejuani, you get Mbessa to have like one bruiser item, and you know, how does this champ really function?
Yeah, I mean, I will die on this hill that Collector is such a placebo item. It is not as good as people think it is. Like, just
It's
keep
not
in mind,
better than Hex Optics at any point in the game.
like for a first Jin item is right now, like a lot of people go Storm Razor. Storm Razor is a really good item just because it pairs very well with Jin, where like, you know, Jin's bread and butter is like, you know, you're the fast. You're kiting like crazy. You get some crit, you get a little attack speed, you do, you know, you go Storm Razor into like a rapid fire cannon, and like you're just the fast. Like you're not like, the thing is about Jin is not like a super great primary DPS. He's a really good setup. So kind of like similar to Ashe. Like you can, you know, hit hard, but like you kind of need, you know, a little bit of help, you know. So like in this specific team comp, Jin isn't like super great. I mean, Jin hasn't had like any extra kills in the past like 20 minutes.
Well, Jin's job in this team comp is to sit back with the curtain call and allow his teammates to dive forward. But the problem is there's so much tank on the other side. It's like you can't weave those bullets into the backline members. You have no.
There's a reason
targets.
why curtain call means it's the end of the show. As they go onto Kagrin, that's the tank. Gonna get a charm onto 2, and they're gonna take down the Silas. Gonna stand united also on top of him, and he will get taken out there. He will not stand united with his team any longer, as that's gonna be a route onto the Rakan. There's the public execution onto the Silas, going a little bit too deep under the tower. Malbitos is going to go in with the ultimate, but he will get taken out, and that's gonna be 4 members strong there for Hyrulean Heroes as they knock down 3. And they're going to try to break this base open. Fat wave in the mid lane as they'll break open the base here. They're going to get their first inhibitor at about 29 minutes.
They're a little bit indecisive, though. I don't think that Ballistic Demon should have walked up here. They could have gotten 2 inhibitors instead of just the 1. They might be able to take advantage
I think
of
they're
the
still going
wave
to take 2.
down here. Yeah, T-Dye staying is really important there, but who is up? No, yeah, 8 seconds. They're going to play it safe. Could have gotten both, but 1 is still good. With 5 seconds until Hex Tech, you have to
honestly.
weigh
Yeah, I
that.
think they should just go straight to the. Honestly thought they should have just went straight to the Drake and just burned it with those like 3, because you have a Zaya with IE, LDR,
But she just
Essence,
finished
and a
LDR,
Void.
yeah. She
Oh,
had to go back to base. You
but
want
she
to
had
get that
Flash
LDR.
Whisper. Like the 3
Yeah.
items still. Like you're gonna blow that Drake up. Like that Drake is
Proto
gonna be non-existent.
Protoplasm completed for Sejuani. I mean, you saw how much that Kagran was able to tank in that last fight. That last fight
Yeah.
essentially started just from Kagran walking behind their turret and allowing the enemy team to hit them.
Yeah, like Kagran and Flock just walked up and just tanked it all. Like they have no tank shred. That's why I kind of like said that Nefiri should go for like that bruisery build. Like 'cause you're still gonna hit like a truck, but now you're gonna have armor shred. You're gonna have percent max HP damage, and it's great. And now Jin has this LDR here. But Baron started up by the side of Hyrulean heroes. They only spot the Imbessa on the control ward, but this Baron is just going to get completely shredded here. As they pick up the second Baron of the game here at 30 minutes. Gold lead's going to go up to about 8.5k, and Hyrulean heroes, like this game might be slightly wraps here
Yeah.
as they start pushing
And
out the lanes.
the Black Cleaver, even compounding on that, we always talk about Jin having a hard time with tanks and hard time with armor and HP. If you'd gone Black Cleaver, that plus the LDR would have meant Jin would really be able to deal with some of these champs that, as of right now, there's just no opening for Mystic Chaos to do anything at this 30-minute mark. Now, Baron and 3 Hextech Dragons. We often talk about souls, but we don't often talk about the impact of these individual ticks, as Glacial Prison will go
Zaya?
down the upright.
Oh, that's a 3-man root! Holy cow, with the play caller! And they're going straight onto the Leona. Curtain call getting used here. That's going to be a 4-man soul shackles by the Silence! And he's going to get a big stun in the back line, but he does have the Zanya. He's going to live a little bit longer. He will get taken out. Oh, that was the Zaya. And that's going to be a Featherstorm going in there as the Nefiri going to go in. He's going to get obliterated. Quadra kill going over to Ballistic Demon. And 4 members down for the side of Feed the Dream here as teleport coming in by Buckby. And they're going to end the game. Beta Mana is the only man left alive for his squad. Solar Flare onto 2, but it will not be enough here. It's going to be a 2-1 victory here for GCCE Hyrulean Heroes as they take game 3 in a damn dominant fashion.
Yeah, I mean, Ballistic had enough of the game, had enough of the noise, the talk that he couldn't carry on a champ that, seldom is considered to be a hyper carry, but if you're facing a team comp like this, Zaya can absolutely take over a game. And you had other members like Buckby really playing their roles well. Kagran, I like this shift. Instead of playing those playmaking junglers that have early game prio that we saw earlier with the Amumu, the Jarvan, shifting more to a later mid-game facilitator, frontliner seems to be suitable. Flock did so well on the Enchanters. Now you give them a playmaker, and you see what difference that makes. And T-Dye, didn't have to carry as hard as we thought they might, but did their job in lane, won lane handedly, pushed their advantage, joined the team's fights when they had to, and just you see based on the damage charts, everyone doing their jobs extremely well. And it wasn't, an awful performance from Feed the Dream. I think you have a lot of really standout performers. Malbethus played really well the entire series. Samurai had some good games in there, and Beta Mana, not terrible Leona performance, but over the past couple games, always really shining. This very easily could have been a Feed the Dream 2-0, but kudos to Hyrulean Heroes for keeping their head in the game and reverse sweeping this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, they won that first game. It was a little, it was a little close. That was it was more of a Feed the Dream throw. And then second game, they just get completely blown out the water. And then this third game, I mean, it's just another blow out the water for Hyrulean Heroes. So they pick up this victory. They move on to the lower bracket semifinal. So from here on out, it is best of 5s all day long. And looking, I closed out my gosh darn thing because I don't. Let's see if they put who won the next match here, as it will be PTL. So PTL did win the last match. So now we already know who their opponent is going to be, it looks like.
The Phantom
Um,
Troop. This is a team that has been a staple in all Ember leagues across the different ELO brackets. Fun fact, the only team that I've ever coached for was a Phantom Troop team. Don't ask how it went, but I did coach them for quite some time, and it's an org that is looking to cement themselves in this bracket and going up against GCC, who I feel like also trying to put themselves on the map, and an ELO that's so dominated by the XSVs, by the Jolly Rogers. I think this is the time for some of these new bloods to rise up and cement themselves.
yeah, I mean, looking at these matchups in the the upper finals and lower semis, like it's gonna be real juicy. It's gonna be a great time. Next week, we'll be back. Next week, same time. We'll see which match we'll be casting next week. But stay tuned, because that will be it from us tonight. It is I, Banana Bread XD, with my co-host Jack and our